What's going on, chat? We're back for another episode to talk about it. Today's guest, somebody I actually met in high school, but today's guest is Ty. So, we went to high school together, Fern Creek. If you've been to art show in Louisville on the waterfront, odds are you've probably seen his work. Um, if I had to describe him in a few words, I'd say expressive, passionate, and active. Ty's has deeply expressed his interests throughout life with physical health and venturing into boxing a little bit. I deep dived his Instagram. It was kind of weird. Physical fitness, and then he's got a deep passion for art, as I can see. Um, the aesthetics that Ty's able to capture is truly unmatched. Different type of vibe for sure. So without further ado, everybody, welcome Ty to the pod. How you doing, Ty?
I'm doing pretty good, brother. How about yourself?
Pretty good, pretty good. So, in terms
Yeah,
of
man.
bios, how would you say, like, what would you add or take away from what I was, my rough bio for you?
Uh, only couple things. It was perfect. I am. I would add that I'm funny and handsome, bro. That's the
He's a,
only
he's a
thing.
funny
That's the
guy.
only thing.
He's a funny
You're a
guy.
funny guy, you know.
So, let's start. I feel like the key of kind of who you are, like being able to express yourself in art and stuff. I feel like that's you. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that's a large part of who you are.
Yeah, I feel like my whole life basically is art, bro. Like creation, you know.
For sure. And I think too. I mean, like, I take it a lot of the stuff behind you is yours.
Oh yeah, for sure, bro. I got some stuff that I got for this show coming up. I got like six or seven that you feel me, that I already got on done, and I got one I'm working on too, bro. So yeah, everything that you see behind me right now is definitely.
Well, even like so, it's hard to see right now because the lights. But the one on the right of the Naruto is Taz. Um,
Oh yeah,
yeah. So like even him being able to put his own touch on it and like it's personalized, like sick. It was a great addition to the room. I can't wait to move
one
and
on
actually
one,
have
bro.
yeah
Yeah,
101. Get your little free plug in
yeah,
there.
one on one, bro.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
how did you kind of get to that point where you're like art? You always been somebody who draws or like paints, or is that just something
So
you
I
figured
ain't.
out?
So, bro, the thing is, I took art in high school, but I ain't never really take it serious, and I ain't never knew how to like traditionally draw. Like, I can't draw for nothing. I don't feel like, but like, Um, I started painting one day because just bro, it was just like a therapeutic thing. Like I was just mentally just trying to find something, And then one day, ex that I had, she was like, "Let's go paint." And so one day I painted, and it looked trash. It was horrible. It was like it was. I looked off a painting. I mean, a picture of something, and I painted it, and it was horrible. So that's where it started at, bro. And then after that, I was like, I liked it because it just slowed everything down. And, I could just pay attention to something, and it just turned out the way it turned out. And then once I figured out, like, I don't have to be perfect with it, like, it's just is what it is because it's me. And I just started doing whatever, bro, and it just fell in love with it.
Which shows that you're like passionate about it. Like I feel like certain things, it's easy to like just like to do it, but like there's a certain essence that you have that shows like you love doing it.
Yeah, bro, I feel like it really like mentally helps me, bro. It just gets out emotions that I can't say, bro. It's just even if it
That's
isn't.
beautiful. Like you like philosophical shit right now, Ty. You talking
Nah, for real. That's
some.
bro. That's how I feel. Cause like even if it's not directly how I feel, that feeling that I'm trying to put out there, it captures it. So it's just like, why not?
Right.
And it's
Well,
better
and
to
maybe not even for
keep
you
it
though,
up,
but like some maybe you might not feel something from it, but somebody does.
bro. There's this one painting that I did. It was like, bro, it's so much going on with it, and this dude, one of my friends, he was moving into a new place, and one of this guys saw it that was passing through, bro. And he literally broke down crying, like just looking at it, saying that it was just, bro, he just needed it. I don't know why he said he needed it, but he just said it was so much going on in his life, it just captured it because it was really so much going
It was
on in
just
the
busy.
picture, bro. It was,
Yeah.
yeah, it was just busy, and he just broke down crying, like, bro, like I needed
So
this.
have you found like the I guess like the word they would use to describe your type of art? Like is there a word that
Yeah,
describes it?
um, I would describe it as abstract.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not super deep into the art scene. Like I like to look at it and like have pieces, but it's not like something that I focus my time on. But like again, like like that old saying, like beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah, that's why I feel like that's why I like what I do so much because I can look at my paintings in a whole different way than somebody else will,
Right.
you know. So
So do you like
that's
to?
why I try not to make a specific, piece because I don't want it to be like this is what it is, black and white. Nah, I
Right.
want you to,
Yeah, like a photograph. Like if somebody was to take a picture,
yeah,
like that's trees, that's water, but like
yeah,
making something that just kind of
make you
in
feel,
right
make you feel.
make you think a little bit. Right. That's always good too. I feel like surrounding yourself with things that make you think deeper than black and white is a good
hmm
thing to partake in. Um, so like in so you more abstract. Would you say that you like to just look at art in general, not even
Yeah, most definitely. I actually see everything as, bro. As corny as it's gonna sound, bro. I literally see everything as art. Like, it's when you when you look at life in a certain way, literally everything is art, bro. Like
for sure.
everything is symmetric. Everything is how it's supposed to be, bro. And it's art. Like even us having this conversation, it's art, bro. Like what you do, it's art.
Yeah, it's weird to think of it that way because most of the time it's just
Because
chopping it up, being stupid with
but
the
you're
boys. Yeah, yeah.
right, but you're creating, bro.
Right, 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 right. So I can't help but notice the cross around your neck. In that sense, thinking of art as like just like the beauty of you being able to take something that is paint and make something that somebody can feel. Like how you kind of you correlate that into faith, like the
That's a
understanding
good
of what it is.
question. Yeah, actually, I did a painting for I did a piece for my homie. It was an abstract painting of Jesus. This is actually a angel behind me. It's abstract, and I got another one. But I feel like faith plays a lot in it because faith is a reason why I'm able to do what I do because God gave me the ability, but He also gave me um the mental anguish to be able to produce it. So basically what I mean is like he gave me the battles that I go through to be able to produce what I produce.
Right, right.
So yeah, so God is the number one aspect in everything that I do, but not even
Sure.
just art.
I'm glad to hear that. I feel like I don't know, just like when it comes to art and like the way people express themselves is always interesting to me, especially like when you play that into like what faith is. And I honestly like so recently I got back into I wouldn't even say religion, just following Jesus. And for
Me too,
me,
bro.
yeah, I'm I mean you have a kid, I definitely feel like that's like a come to Jesus moment, like this is bigger than me.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think that in that sense of I have like I see God working every day, and like even like the slightest thing. I talked to this guy, I was just at a conference, and he takes pictures like photography for a living,
hmm
and he sent me this picture that he took, and I'm like, bro, like that's just like that's just God working, bro. Like it's beautiful, like no filter,
hmm
just a picture of like fog and tree lines. Like it was beautiful.
hmm
Like God is the greatest artist I know.
Bro, you feel me? The
Yeah.
greatest one that you know, bro. Because even, bro, it's art in literally everything. Like, if you just take a leaf, bro, and just really look at it, bro, the grass on the ground, bro, like just everything. The way it was hailing outside today,
Yeah, I've seen
somebody could
that.
go outside and take a picture.
Yeah.
Art, bro. Like,
Especially like the crazy thing too is like when you really start thinking about that, like this is like some psychedelic drug type trip, but like
hmm
you look at like you said a leaf, right? You look at that just with human eye, like it's aesthetic at some point, like some art, right? But then you look at it under a microscope, and then it just continues to show you how beautiful this thing is. Like it takes so many
hmm
pieces to make some. And I feel like in that same sense, that's how art is. Like one line on a canvas ain't doing nothing for somebody, but you add different colors and different shapes, then
Yeah,
it's art.
different, yeah. And then it just makes people feel. I feel like feel like art and music really make people feel outside of the things that can physically make them feel. Something you hear and see. I feel like art and music are the biggest things that play a part in people's life to where, like, say, I don't know how I'm trying to say it without fumbling it, but like, say, so have you ever been to an art gallery?
Yeah,
Okay, so you know how different pieces will make you feel different things or make you wonder what the artist was going through.
yeah. I pick up what you're saying.
So, but it's a certain music that they play that goes along with that. Because if you play the wrong music, it'll make you
Right.
not either like it or you won't get it. So that's what I'm saying. Music and art, paint, canvas work, or anything that you can create yourself, even graffiti, anything is art, bro. Like everything is
I
art,
take
bro.
you seen that. I feel like there's a. Do you feel like there's a point of art where it gets corny?
Yeah, if you make it, yeah,
Like you seen that
yeah.
banana with the duct tape?
No, I
You ain't
haven't.
seen that, bro? Okay, so they just did a commercial on it. I think it was a Alexa commercial. Um, it was either yeah, I think Alexa. They just did like a partnership with Ray Ban, so they got Ray Ban with Alexa in them. But it's like Chris Pratt and Chris Hemsworth, and they're in this commercial, and Chris Pratt walks past this banana taped to the wall, which is like a famous painting or like a famous piece of art, right?
Mm,
And Chris Pratt's like, huh, interesting, whatever, walks away, and then Chris Hemsworth comes through, he's eating the banana, and he's like, bro, it's a $50 million piece of art that you're just eating right now.
yeah.
uh,
See, that's the thing with new age. With new age, like, bro, I was on Instagram a couple months ago, and like they had like this dude was literally just running across a wall with pen on his hand, jumped off a trampoline, and then like made a line, and like that was like people were so impressed with that.
so
Like,
you feel like at
I
that point
mean,
it's corny.
yes, bro, it's definitely corny at that
Well,
point.
at that sense, like in when you think of it that way, like I wouldn't say that it's like downplaying your art any or like anybody who's like painting super detailed pieces, but like I feel like
Yeah,
to an extent it kind of is. Like you just jump off a
yeah,
trampoline with paint in your hand, and these people's actually
yeah.
putting
Like
hours into.
hours into it, like actual feelings and emotions, and time and effort,
Yeah,
and you just run across a wall, jumping up and down. It's,
yeah.
I mean, I
Well,
guess
even
it's.
when I got that paint from you, like we had a time frame, and then you was like, yeah, I ain't feeling it. Like I started over. Like
Mhm.
it's something that you're actually
Yeah, I
invested
did.
in.
Yeah, for real. Cause, but I feel like so the art show that my first art show I went to last year, bro. Like I had a really strange. I still do. I have a really strange attachment to all my paintings. Like I never wanted to sell them or anything.
Right,
So somebody convinced me, and I did it. And just seeing all the customer photos of it in the cribs or wherever it be at, like even if I was to die right now, I would still live on through, all of those pains and
right.
stuff just in different places. So, bro, like art can I feel like art can be corny, but if you're true to yourself, then how could it be?
I like that. I like that, and I like the fact too that I feel like certain career paths and like decisions you make as like a human being can drive you to being prideful, but being able to say like, no, this is God. Like God is acting through me to create these pieces that people can relate with. That's a good place to be.
So you think that so you think based off a career, you think people can say that again?
So I feel like certain career paths. So like just let's say like I'll give you this example. So I was just at a conference and
Hmm.
like 15 people won awards. Some of them's like they did some good type, like nothing crazy, but like people's getting lifetime achievement awards. Like they've been coming to this conference for 20 years and they got a lifetime achievement award. Not
Hmm.
one person of the 15 people said anything about God. It was all prideful, like
Mm.
it's me.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So
Yeah.
like my like it's a weird way for me because like I said, I just got back into religion.
Hmm.
Um, just
Me too.
realizing like it's bigger than me. Like I ain't got here by myself, and that's
Hmm.
one of the things is up until that point, I was very prideful. Like I'm here today because I got here.
So if you don't mind me asking, what humbled you, bro?
Well, one, I have a great wife. That's the kicker for sure. Uh,
Okay.
Honestly, I realized my issue with religion because I was never atheist. I was more agnostic. I claimed atheist, but it
Mhm.
was just like I didn't. I knew there was something, but I didn't. I had too many questions. So for me, it was having a baby. Like I could feel God in the room. Is the only way I describe it. Like
Mm.
you know when you go somewhere like somewhere bad and you get that like pit in your stomach, like
You
you
get
feel the
that,
bad
yeah.
energy.
Mhm.
It's the total opposite of that. Like the room was light. Like I'm getting cold chills,
Butterflies,
bro, talking about it.
giggly,
Oh,
giddy,
bro,
yeah.
like overwhelming like happiness, like joy and tears. But
Mhm.
like that, I take that as God. Like God was there. Um, but ultimately, I realized like my only issue with religion was I asked why too much.
Mm.
Like
Instead of just having faith.
right, and it was more of like, because I mean, I was I wouldn't say like devout, but I was fairly religious until my dad died sophomore year or freshman year of high school, and I just couldn't wrap my head around why. Like this is a guy who, yeah, he doesn't claim Jesus as Lord and Savior, but like he was doing everything right. Like he treated people good, and he would give his shirt off his back to somebody who needed it,
Mhm.
and like took care of his family and loved his wife like God loved the church. So it was like I couldn't fathom why it happened to him. And then ultimately, after having a baby and really like getting into honestly like my journey back to faith, like when I was like, yeah, I've messed up. Like Jesus is the only way. It was October, and one of my homeboys was doing real bad mentally, and I typically do sober October every October, just like break. Not that I like partake anymore. Like I don't really drink
Yeah.
anymore, but I like try to pick up a healthy habit during October. So he was struggling, and I asked him, I was like, "When's the last time you read the Bible cover to cover?" And he was like, "I don't think I've ever read the Bible cover to cover." And this is somebody who's devout, so I'm like, "All right, let's do
Mm.
it. Like I'll read it with you." So I started picking up scripture, and I'm reading it, and a lot of the things that they're saying, I'm like, "Huh, interesting." And granted, I've read the Bible a couple of times at this point, but like way different point in my life.
But yeah, you didn't actually read the
Right.
Bible.
It was more just reading it to say I read it type.
Mhm.
And then it just clicked for me one day. I think ultimately it came down to like, I, you know, those times where you get overwhelmed, not in a bad way, but like you're overwhelmed with like happiness. And I got hit with that. And I just like, I hit my knees and started praying.
Mm.
And then it's just, honestly, just like,
You start crying just because.
yeah, it was more like, I'd say like it was a weight off my shoulders. Like all the
Mhm.
stuff that I had going on that seemed like it was holding me down was like I was free from that.
Mm.
And then it just started, I mean, practicing and praying and talking to God regularly. I actually just told a guy that we had on Tuesday, we was talking, and I said one of my biggest things that I was guilty of when I was like straying away from religion was I said that people that believe in God use him as a crutch. And
Mm.
my point of view now is absolutely. Like I definitely use God as a crutch, but I don't see anybody who doesn't need crutches asking for crutches.
Right.
So I was like,
And how could you not want the greatest thing to ever be a thing not be your grudge?
right. And I think too, like, I think especially like with society and stuff, not trying to be too repetitive because I talked about this quite a bit, but um, I think that's the only thing that's gonna bring us back, like as a human race, is we gotta
Mhm.
even if you don't follow religion, but just acting more like Jesus Christ, bro. Stop judging people based off of what they do and just love them for who they are.
So I've noticed recently like a lot of people coming back to Jesus Christ and God, even including myself, bro. Like I went down this rabbit hole in 2017, bro. Started like a whole different wave, a whole different spiritual journey that, you know, took me away from God and who Jesus Christ was. Like I always knew and I always knew I grew up in
Right.
a church. I was baptized
You
at 7. But
Catholic background?
nah,
Baptist.
Baptist.
Okay.
Yeah, so I grew up in the church, so like I said, I knew God the whole my whole life, but Um, so from when that started, I was, completely. I didn't completely ignore God or left him out, but I was doing me. I was, I was young. I was
Right.
20. I was,
Right.
20. Yeah. So, but
Say no
I
more.
was, I
I
was,
pick up what you're putting down.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and he sat me down and humbled me a couple times, but me not having, um, discernment and knowing God for who he was and, having an understanding of his word. And I didn't see it as that. I was just thinking like, why is this happening to me? I was being beat down mentally, bro. So, um, and bro, it was just one day, it was just it was the last that I could take, bro. And I was, bro, broke, like you said, broke down to like, I felt like I was nothing, bro. He brought me down to literally zero, nothing. And at that point, it was nothing to do but look up, bro. And I just gave myself, I just, like, please take me. You can have me. Like, please, like, mold me, make me to a different person, please. Like, I don't want the same life that I have for me no more. And ever since then, like, it's still a battle every day because I'm
Right.
a human.
Absolutely.
I'm but like, bro, I can't even tell you the changes that he's done for me and that I can see for myself. I pray way more, and I was gonna actually tell you that I've been fasting too. I just started, but and that's not something that like that was like God talks to me and then he'll send me a confirmation from outside of what he already told me.
I like that.
Like I told like I was thinking like I need to fast, I need to stop doing this, I need to stop doing that. And then literally weeks later, he gave me the opportunity to go into a fasting group with a church that I don't even attend regularly. But like that church that Sunday was like, we got groups, check them out. And bam, a fasting group. And I'm just like, that's just God working. And,
Right.
they say so much about fasting could help you, get more clarity with God. So bro, it's a lot. It's a lot, but I'm definitely on that new journey with God
It's
too,
something
bro.
I've been.
So,
Granted, I wasn't really looking at it spiritually. I do it a lot, just not thinking. Like, you don't have any kids, right?
mm-mm.
Okay. I
I
definitely
hope I get blessed with him
listen.
one day,
Listen.
though.
Let me tell you, there's nothing better. Like I tell people all the
Yeah, I
time,
know,
it's
bro.
stressful. It tests your patience, but I
Hmm.
would not change it a second.
Hmm.
But a lot of times I just forget to eat. Like
Me
I got
too.
somebody just that depends on me so much to eat that I feed her and then I'm like, oh, it's 6 o'clock. I ain't ate nothing today.
But see,
Um,
mainly like I fast off food, but like mainly I do habits, like things that hinder me spiritually. That's what I fast from.
mm, I like that. Kind of like the same premise as like sober October, like give it up something to replace with a healthy habit.
Hmm.
I like that. But yeah, no. Yeah, I think too. I had a similar experience. Like when I started praying, and I joke about it all the time. I tell my wife like, it's hard to pray for things and then not. I was like, you can't complain. I'm praying for all these things to happen, and God's working.
Hmm.
I can't complain about them now. Yeah, I'm the one to pray for them. Like,
I was told
yeah.
that I was told, my bad, not to
No,
cut
you're
you
good.
off, but you can keep going after this. But I was told not to pray for patience, because you pray for patience, God gonna send
Yeah,
you some.
yeah.
Yeah. So
But that's the thing. Like, even if you look at the Bible, God, He doesn't give you what you ask for. He gives you opportunities to learn that habit. Like you
hmm
ask for patience, He's gonna put you in situations to make you
yeah,
patient.
situations where yep, literally.
So kind of the same premise. Like I'm praying, I'm talking to God regularly, and granted, I got ADHD, so something's always going on in my brain, and like it's just like a struggling time for me. Like I'm like in a career where everybody's leaving, and it's not my career path. Like I know I'm not. Like I want to be a part of it, but not like where I'm at now. Like I want to be on the
What is
speaking
it?
side. So I currently am in higher education. I work for the college I went to. You probably
Hmm.
um,
Okay.
but I'm over residence halls, which I like being able to interact and be a mentor to students. That's what I like about the job, but it comes with a bunch of stuff I don't like.
Hmm.
So I'm kind of in a place where people that I came in with are leaving, and I feel like I'm just kind of putting my family on the back burner, and they're not getting the most out of me
Hmm.
because I'm constantly
Yeah.
exhausted. So I just like pray for God, like just push me in the right direction, like tell me what you want from me. It's like a typical like weeknight for me. I'm in bed watching YouTube before I go to bed, trying to turn my brain off. And I watch this video. I'm like, all right, this is it. And usually after my last video, I'll just turn the TV off. But for some reason, I hit the back button. And the next recommended video is like, God won't show you this until you're ready. So I'm like,
Mm.
interesting. So I click on it.
Yeah, it's like click. Yep.
Yeah. And never seen the YouTuber, never seen any of his content. It's some dude from the
Mhm.
UK, but he's like telling a story about him going for a walk, or he goes for this run, and he has two options. It's like nighttime. He could take this like lit up path, or he could take this route around the pond. It's dark, so he take the route around the pond, and he's like running, and this dog jumps on him, and it scares him. And then a couple days later, he's walking, and he has the same option, and he chooses the pond, and he's like just expecting this dog to come out, and the dog never comes. And he's thinking, and he was like, ultimately, what God's trying to teach me is there's always two options. There's an easy route and a hard route, and sometimes you have to choose the hard route to be closer to God. And I get cold chills. It's giving me cold chills right now. But like I paused
Mm.
the TV and I just like prayed. And I was like, I hear you. Like you're so amazing. I don't know how to do without you.
Mhm.
But that was the moment for me that I was like, okay, like he's got a plan for me. Was so you like when you hit that rock bottom for you? Was that before or after art?
During,
Hmm.
but so everything that you see right now, um, well, that's just one that you see, but everything that I have right now, I've been really. When I'm telling you, he brought me to zero. Zero was like a couple days ago. So like, you feel me? I've been going through it this whole time. So, um, yeah, like I feel like when I'm mentally going through it, that's when I get my best workout. I don't know why, but like if I'm just okay, I won't produce nothing.
Right.
But when I'm going through it, that's when I get a creative flow. I don't know why, but
So talk a little bit more about what you're into. Do you make music? You make music too, right?
yeah. Hmm.
Is that just kind of something you do like when you feel like you have like a creative burst to make something?
Yep. The same. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I think my bad.
You're good.
I think that music is also another way for me to um therapeutically work through my problems because I think that writing, because I write poems too, so anything that has to do with creating, bro, I feel like that just helps me get through what I go through, and I feel like it can me expressing how I feel can also help somebody else.
I like that. So for me, you kind of asked before we started the pod, but kind of what my mission is and how I got here. Uh, I'm very much a businessman. My
I can
goals,
tell, brother.
yeah, my goals in business have changed a lot. So
Hmm.
coming from somebody who grew up, I'm poor. Like there's no way around it. Um, my thing was like I wanted to be a billionaire, just so I knew that everybody in my family was taken care of.
Hmm.
After having a kid and like getting good with faith, I don't need $1 billion. My biggest goal now is to make sure my family's comfortable, so I can give back as much money to people who need it as possible. Um, but for me, like the business aspect is you don't, as a businessman, you don't typically keep very many hobbies for very long. Like you pick up a hobby and then you're like, well, I'm doing so much time on this, I might as well make money off of it.
Hmm.
From a lot of people I surround myself with, that's kind of the case too. But I was playing a game all the time, and I always kind of was interested in streaming, but like I never got the means of like getting deep into it. And then one day I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna bite the bullet. Like I'm playing 80
Hmm.
hours a week. I might as well make money off of it.
What game was it?
Mostly COD.
Okay.
So I get on that wave of like start streaming. This is like early in to me and my wife. This is before we were married. And like I'm streaming from like 5 to midnight and doing it all over again the next night. Like it was like nonstop. And she ended up having we like had a conversation. And I will say that's one thing I pride us on as a couple is like we're really good at communicating.
Hmm.
And she was like, I feel like we're more like roommates than we are a couple. So like I cut back streaming to a couple hours. Like I cut it from almost 8 at night to 3.5. And then I gave up a day during the week to just do family night. Like it's just us, no
Hmm.
distractions. Um, but the whole reason I got into streaming was because one of my boys, we were playing one time and we got a dub, and he was like, there's no better feeling than getting a dub in Warzone. Like you just beat 100 people in a game. Like you're the best person in this lobby. And I was like,
Yeah, sorry.
and
Yeah.
this is like these are people that aren't as good as I am. So I'm like, okay, that's the key right there. Like if this is the best feeling that you felt, let me just get into having that feeling for
Hmm.
people. Like I can carry you to a dub.
Yeah.
Um,
So he carry you.
but like that's kind of how the stream thing kind of took off,
Hmm.
and kind of going off like God testing you and giving you opportunities is. I went through a phase where COD banned me, getting reported. They dropped the car again, and I was just shitting on kids, so I was getting spam reported, and it was a permanent ban. So I thought I was done for COD. So I started
Mm.
venturing into other things and building up a community of people that don't want to watch COD. It's hard to interact. I don't know how people do it. Like for me, where I'm so focused on like getting wins for people who aren't as good as me, I get so dialed that it's like there's no communication except for between games, which is not always what people want to watch.
Hmm.
And I get it. So like I start venturing into new stuff, new opportunities arise. One of my like homeboys that is like we run the shit. He started working third shift, so he can only work weekends. So I'm like, all right, what can I do during the week to not be bored? And I've done podcasts before, and I really like them, like being able to have open discussions with people. So I was like,
Hmm.
let me sprinkle on this, and it started just Tuesdays, and then they took off, and the community kind of let me know like this is it, like you need to start doing this more. So now it's 2 days a week. But honestly, just like the biggest thing is like God's gonna give you challenges to make you better or opportunities to grow, and you can't stray away from 'em.
I heard somebody say something like, um, I'm not even gonna paraphrase it, but basically, like God wouldn't test God wouldn't test you if he know you wouldn't get through it. And he's putting you through that so he can know so you can feel like what it is now. So when you get to wherever you're going, it's just that much better for you,
Right.
bro.
I think
And
too
I feel like that's
the key from that is not every challenge that God puts you through is gonna be the outcome you want it to be.
mhm,
Like sometimes you're gonna
mhm,
fail, but that's what God wants you to do so that you can learn from it. I think that's key
mhm.
as well.
Falling on your face too.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And
I
it
mean,
hurt.
God's really good at humbling you,
Mhm.
especially the slightest sense of pride. He snatched that shit from you real quick.
And the crazy thing is it'll be out of nowhere. You'll
Yeah.
think you know, you
Uh,
just A-okay.
how much scripture do you read? Do you read quite a bit?
Um, I've been trying to read quite a bit more, but no, I don't read. I
Okay,
don't read too much because I've never been a reader for real.
that's fair. I'm not either. For me, like the original version of the Bible, like King James, I don't know what the version is,
Mhm,
but where it's so repetitive. For me, having
mhm,
ADHD, it made so much more sense to me because I didn't have to reread a page 4 or 5 times because it's so repetitive. Like I get it. I definitely
nah,
recommend.
see,
I'm gonna give you a challenge, bro. I want you to read Book of Job. Just listening to what you said so far about faith, that'll be an eye opener for you. That's one of my favorite books in the
mhm.
Bible. Job, you would probably know a little bit about Job, but just his
I say
story.
yeah. I know the story, but like actually reading it, I ain't read it.
Yeah, I definitely recommend. I think that would give you a lot of different perspectives on like your challenges and stuff.
Mhm,
But I mean, that's one of those. There's a couple of books or like lines of scripture that like stick with me, like Isaiah 6:8, like here I am, send me. That's David Goggins type motivation for me. Like you
mhm,
about to go fight in a war, who's gonna fight? And the guy's like, send me, I'll die for you. That's a
mhm.
different type of dedication,
That's a different type of love and
right?
dedication for God, yeah, bro. And that's the type of love He has for us. And overlooking it is crazy, and that's what I was doing, and that's why I was falling on my face every single time, bro. Every single time.
Yeah, and I mean that's a lot of my prayers too. Is I apologize for ever turning my back on him
Yep, me too.
because I know where I'm at now is because of him solely. So
And like, bro, like thinking now, like just even looking back, even thinking about going back to how you used to be would be such a
yeah,
slap in the
literally.
face, bro.
Because even like the slightest things, I feel like we take advantage of a lot.
Mhm.
And granted, I get to an extent like if you're not religious, I get it. Like you don't have anybody to thank for where you're at. But being religious and being like, I woke up today, I have breath in my lungs, I can walk around and go play golf and make art. Like, I'm truly blessed to
Hmm.
be here.
I can use my two legs, my two arms, my two eyes. Like people don't have an arm,
Literally,
people don't have two legs. Like
literally. So
it's
just
just all about even like you said, even if you aren't religious or anything, just being grateful for where you at right now, even if it's not the best place, it could always 100% be worse.
for sure. And granted, I know one of my like pet peeves about religion is like how certain people go about like pushing it on people. I'll never push my
Hmm.
religion on people. I'll talk to you about it if you're not interested. Cool, like I'll keep it pushing. Ultimately, I just want to do my due diligence of trying to spread the word as to many people as possible. But there's a
Hmm.
difference between trying to spread the word and shoving it down somebody's throat.
I feel like the best way possible is to be Christ-like, to
Yeah,
show, God working through you, then somebody will, that's ministry in itself for real.
for sure.
I feel like that's
Yeah,
other than, evangelizing and showing love, but being the light that God is, then people gonna have to do nothing but look at it and
right.
see.
And I ultimately like that's what I like to talk to people who aren't religious, just to kind of see where their perspective is. Not that it's going to
Hmm.
change my opinion because I'm solid. Like that's my Lord and Savior. But I'm just curious, like what makes you think? And then like a lot of times you talk to people and they have the core values there. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
My sister's texting
Well,
me.
a lot of people also use that the non-religious people. They also use the fact that it was man-made and man-written and it was
Right.
translated blah 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 blah. Like that's like the key common denominator that they all use that I hear from.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I think, I mean, there's even more historical evidence of Jesus Christ being real than a lot of the things that we know is
That's
fact now.
that's literally what I be telling them, but they just don't want to do their own research. They just want to like go off of feeling and not actually facts. You know, they don't take the time to do research themselves.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I feel like, I mean, I was guilty of it. I've been there.
I ain't never been. I ain't gonna. I ain't never been at the point to where I was dissing guy like nah.
Yeah,
Or
granted, I feel like to me, it was never like, I never, I was always like open to religions. Like I wasn't religious, but like I'll listen to your perspectives. And like I had
mm.
homeboys that were
Yeah,
religious,
me too. Yeah, for sure.
and I would mess them up because they'd be like, they'd be going through something, and I'd be like, you pray on it, and that's coming from somebody who doesn't believe in the same faith as you, and they'd be like, bro, don't, that scares me, don't say that. So I'm like, all right,
Mm.
just try to help. I figured that would help you. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, just trying to spread his word. I seen a TikTok of a guy talking. He's like doing a skit where he's talking to Moses, and he was like how was it to have the staff that like parted the Red Sea and like freeing all these people? And Moses was like, it was cool, but like you're from 2025, right? And the guy's like, yeah. And he was like, you had a phone? And he was like, yeah. He was like, what was that like? And he was like, I mean, it was cool. Like we had TikTok, whatever. And he was like,
Hmm.
well, what was it like to be able to spread the gospel to millions of people with just a click of a button? And the guy's like, I didn't do that. But like we're at that age that that's all it takes.
Hmm.
But I think the biggest thing that we got, like the Christian community got to like realize is other people's sins aren't your sins. Like I know you're trying to get them to heaven, but you yelling at them that they're going to hell and that they're sinners,
Right.
that's not helping them.
Hmm. Church people are like is what scares people away from the religion,
Yeah,
bro. And the crazy thing is, they be acting however they act throughout the whole week, and then when come Sunday, be the most the holiest, you know, God loving person in the world, and then won't judge everybody else for how they coming in there themselves,
right,
trying to get clean, and you trying to just put on the front, scaring away these people trying to learn God for the first time or
exactly.
experience a genuine connection with Him, and
Or they don't have
you
a
just
connection with them
ruining
because that was the case. Like they've been through
it. Hmm.
people like yelling at them, telling them that they're dirty sinners. I just had a chaplain on 2 episodes ago. I definitely recommend you go and peeping that. But we talked about a
Definitely
lot of
got
that.
to.
I think one thing that we talked about that kind of stuck with me is I always thought that the Bible told us not to judge, but the Bible actually says, don't cast judgment that you wouldn't be willing to receive.
Mm.
So I bet a lot of those people that are telling people they're dirty sinners, if they got that, they'd be real quick to be like, no, no, that's not me. That's not me.
Hmm.
So
And people be projecting, bro,
yeah,
because they don't want to feel it themselves. So they feel like you are because you're the dirty sinner because I'm the dirty sinner, you
Yeah.
know. And actually, I used to do that, but not in that way. Like I was never that type of person, but I used to project feelings on other people. Mainly, my a girl that I was dealing with at the time, I would project my feelings on them because, that's how I was feeling inside or that's what, I was doing as a person. And I asked that was one of the things that I would pray and ask God to fix in myself a lot,
Do you feel
actually.
like so I was actually just having this conversation with somebody and that's kind of the way they go about that is they was telling me like, yeah, I project a lot and it's not intentional. It's just I never really learned how to like communicate. So they like blow up and like yell because that's how you're used to getting their point across.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like in parts that's how kind of you were raised? Like you didn't really get raised to how to communicate how you were feeling, so you just express it through.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like a lot of I can't speak for anybody else, but a lot of how I am the way I am now is because of the way I grew up. And not being able to express your feelings in a healthy way and not being able to receive love in a healthy way because you don't know what it is, you're definitely gonna I guess project all a lot of negative feelings
Yeah.
because
Well, that's
you can
usually
also project good
yeah,
feelings too,
right. But I feel like most of the
even
time,
if
though, if
it's
that's the case, that's how you were raised. It's usually the negative side that people take. Like
yeah.
people's always gonna take the bad from something, not the good. You know what I mean?
But you can also make the good out of it too. It's just how you look at it.
Right.
Cause I was talking to somebody the other day and they was saying how they was reading a book on somebody, two brothers. They grew up the same, same dad, same mother, but they was twins. And one brother grew up and he was a successful businessman, blah blah blah. One brother grew up and he was a drunk, a drug addict, he had a hard life. And somebody asked them, what was the main difference on why y'all grew up two different ways, and they both said the way that I grew up. So one successful dude used the way that he grew up as fuel to make him, successful, however he turned out, and one used it to be, this depressed drunk. He beat his wife, all this other stuff. So it's really about perspective on how you look at it. Because, somebody could take how I grew up and just, be broken down, or somebody could take how I grew up and, be like me or even greater. So it
Right.
just all depends on perspective,
For
bro.
sure. And I think too, one thing that plays into that is like human biology. So I am a business major through and through. I did business management in my bachelor's and then got a master's in entrepreneurship. If I was to ever go back to school, which I don't foresee happening, I would probably get something in psychology. Just like the way the human
Hmm.
brain works is so interesting to me. But one conversation I've had is that like you could take siblings that all grew up the same exact way, but traumas in their childhood they all process it differently. Like they're of
Hmm.
the same DNA, but everybody processes it different. So that's interesting too from that story. It's like easy way to. I was talking to my sister about like my dad, and we were talking about like what was your biggest lesson that you learned, and she said that she thinks that my dad could have worked less. Like
Hmm.
he barely slept because he was busting his ass so bad.
Hmm.
And she was, I think he could have survived longer if he wasn't working so hard. And I said, I get what you're saying, but at the same perspective, I learned something different from that. As the oldest son, I learned you take care of your family regardless of the cost.
Regardless, yeah, regardless.
So like,
But like, you also gotta understand you are a man and she's a woman.
right?
We also
Yeah,
look
yeah,
at
yeah,
life.
for sure. Yeah, different. Yeah, and I think too, like one quote that stuck with me here recently is like, "Yeah, you'll die for your family, but will you live for them?" That shit's really stuck with me. So like
Mm-hmm.
being able to get out of this job and get into something that's a little more comfortable, and then I can venture out and do public speaking, uh, and being able to take. I was talking to somebody, and granted, it's just I'm so used to being busy. Like if I feel like if I'm not doing anything, then I'm just useless. So I'm always doing something. And I was talking to
Mm-hmm.
somebody at that conference, and I was telling him like all the stuff I do, and he's like, "Bro, how?" And I was like, "What do you mean, bro? It's just day to day for me." And he's like,
Yes.
do you never like crawl up on the couch and like cry and watch Jeopardy? And I was like, no, don't have time for that.
Don't even watch
Yeah.
TV.
Uh, yeah, I was like, yeah, no, that's not. He was like, but how you gonna do this travel and stuff and like maintain? Because you seem like a very family oriented guy. And I was like, no, absolutely. I was like, my wife and daughter mean everything to me. I said, but you see it as strictly business. I see it as my family being a priority. So if I'm traveling different cities, different states, I'm gonna make sure that I can take my family and make it a family trip on top of a business trip.
Yeah, facts.
So like I got my first college booking at Cumberland's in the fall coming up. So I'm gonna take my family down there. I'm gonna do my presentation or whatever. The next day we're gonna go to
Congrats,
the
my
zoo.
boy.
Appreciate it. But it's like implementing like I still just because I have all this stuff going on doesn't mean my standards of me and like my output changes. Like family's always number
Mhm.
one. So like I will easily say, hey, I'm not streaming today. I'm gonna take care of my family. Like family is number one. Granted, sometimes people get upset, but at the same time, it's like at the
But
end of the
being
day, that's what's number one. Like if I don't have family, then this stream shit ain't happening.
it, yeah,
Yeah,
then there's no
right.
there's no T easy if
Yeah,
there's no family.
literally. But I mean, that's kind of like we've gone through phases, and it was very like you probably can feel it to an extent, especially like painting and starting to sell your stuff. You can love something a lot, but the moment you start adding business aspects into it, you kind of get away from your core on why you started doing it.
Bro,
So the key is to stay as close to those
it's,
cores as you can.
yeah.
Because I've gotten to that point
Mhm.
where it's like, this is a business. Don't clock in if you ain't trying. Like, don't be a part of it if you don't want to be a part of it. Which that's
Mhm.
fair. I feel like if you don't want to be bought in, cool. But like, don't act like you're bought in.
Yeah, but don't. I feel like you shouldn't let it control you either.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I can tell you right now, regardless of how big I get, I'm never gonna be that guy that's like spending time with family. Oh, let me put out some content. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like it goes off what we were talking about before, like getting people that know that stuff that they can push out content when I'm
Mhm.
doing something with my
Yeah.
family.
Yep. Yep. Man, it's all about a network of people, bro, and that's what I'm trying to find right now. It's a network of people that can do the things that I know how to do, but don't have the time to do it.
That's the key, bro. That's why I picked up Sleepy as an assistant, bro. Because like I got so much shit going on right now, and it's not that I don't want to do it, but like when you have so much stuff going on, some things have to take a back seat.
You
And
forget or this
right,
come up.
right, and the core of what I'm trying to do is trying to create a community for somebody to be able to come in and just chill out, have a laugh, relax,
hmm
and that kind of feed into the mental health side. We'll talk about that. I know you asked a question, but if I if I completely just oh I'm not streaming, too much stuff's going on right now. I feel like in my head I'm gonna think about those people that rely on having a downside to the day where they could just unwind and watch me stream. But if I have somebody that can make content or make a clip and put out, they at least get something. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
But yeah, so you asked about what was the question you had about mental health, like why I got into it.
Yeah,
So ultimately, what you
because I like psychology too. If I was to ever go to college, it would be for psychology.
what year did you graduate?
16.
Okay, so you're just a year earlier than me.
Yeah.
So my largest thing, like largest reasoning to kind of dive into the mental health aspect of things was simply because I've been there. Um,
hmm
throughout high school, I definitely lived a double life in the sense of going to school and maintaining that aspect of me, but also like I was partaking in things I definitely shouldn't have been, put myself in situations I shouldn't have been. Um, I wouldn't say I was addicted because I wasn't, but like I used drugs pretty heavily and drank heavily, and
hmm
the two things usually connect in some way back to sex. So like I had three ways of coping: drugs, alcohol, and sex. Um,
hmm
and then when you get to a certain point, you just spiral. And it basically came to a head one time that I just ended up in St. Louis and no clue how I got there. on like a Thursday night. So I was like, maybe I got a problem. So
Yeah.
I went to an NA meeting first, so for drugs,
Mm.
and I'm in there, and they're talking about like basically like some shit out of a movie, like, oh yeah, I'd suck dick to get crack, and I was like, that's not me. I would never do that. Like, I don't get me wrong, like I'll I partake, but I'm not like addicted. Like, I don't need this. So kind of
Literally
realized,
addicted.
right? I was like, I kind of realized that wasn't that big of a deal. Um, and then like the other ones were drinking was just literally just a coping mechanism, like trying to not feel anything at all. And then sex was just kind of the byproduct of that. I knew that I had an issue when I was like trying to sleep with people that I was in SA with. Like, that was a problem. Like, they got a problem
Mm.
and I'm just ruining their shit because.
Yeah.
But uh, honestly, like going through that and living that double life, where like my sisters didn't know that I had that issue until right before I had a daughter, because I feel like I needed to get that off my chest or I was gonna be stuck in the past. Um, so like going through all this phases of like, okay, well, what problems do I have, and trying to navigate it on my own, simply because it's like decisions I made. Like, if I had just continued living the same way I did when my dad was alive, then nothing, like, I wouldn't have had any issues. But
So
like
many
that's not the
yep.
case. And then like you don't talk about it, and then it spirals into something. So trying to be an advocate for that, like, that's a lot of what my session is. Like, it more caters to leadership, because I feel like that's something we need, is more strong leaders. So to be able to talk to a college student and be like, look, here's a story about this guy who grew up, family was everything, and then family got taken from him, and then he did X, Y, Z, and made all these bad decisions, and then somebody actually believed in him, and he took the incentive to like be better and grow as an individual, and then be like, oh yeah, by the way, that's me. Like, I'm here speaking in front of you, and I had all these
Mm.
problems, but because
Mm-hmm.
I actually bought into what I was doing and being a student leader, like, I'm where I'm at today. That resonates with a lot of people, especially, I don't know what it is about wearing Jordans and an untucked shirt, but people actually listen to
Bro,
you.
it's cause they can relate, bro.
Yeah. I mean, when you, granted, if there's not many people that was at that conference that realized, but like, I'm wearing black hats, like
Hmm.
like bricks that usually people don't wear,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
it's like
Some
relatable.
black
Like,
cats. I
my
actually want those, bro.
bro, I got a guy, I might have to hook you up.
Please.
350. I paid 350 for him.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a steal. It's a steal. But like being able to like just my delivery of stuff, like it's something I have to work in, because a lot of delivery for college students nowadays is like babying them. And that was one of my pet peeves when I was a college student. It's like, I'm not a baby. I've been paying bills since I was 14. Like, talk to me like I'm a grown man. So me being able to like cuss and like talk at their level of like, this is how they talk to their friends. Like, they're gonna listen to you a little bit more than, all right, guys, let's get our notebooks out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and it's different. Like, like traditionally, how we seen people up on the stage with the suits and the shirt tucked in,
Yeah.
with the clean cut and everything. You trying to talk about motivation? We not really listening to that. Like, we hear you, but we ain't listening. We want somebody that we can, you feel me? That we can relate to. We can look at and be like, okay, he's probably been through something
Yeah.
before.
Well, I mean, even like, even if it is, they see the Jordans, like, okay, he valid. Let me listen to what he's talking to.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I said. We can relate to my
Well,
boy.
especially like you implement things. So like, I wear like a hoodie to work every day. So like, a lot of
Hmm.
times people see me and they think I'm just a college student, and they talk about shit, and I figure out things that I should know as like,
Hmm.
like a employee, because they're willing to talk to me because I look like one of them. So even from that aspect of like carrying myself as a professional, but also being able to like chop it up and use the same verbiage that they use and be relatable, they have a little bit more respect for me to be like,
Hmm.
hey, I'm going through this. Like, how would you navigate it? That's what's rewarding for me. That's what I like about my job, and that's what I'm gonna miss, is like having a direct line of contact with a student and being able to help them through whatever they're going through. That's what I
Hmm.
like take pride in.
You gonna miss that intimacy.
Right. And I mean, again, that's God put me in a position, like, never would have thought that I'd be in a higher education role talking to college students every day. But like being
But
able to do
imagine
that.
the position he's gonna put you in
Right.
where you going,
Right.
bro. So
So I mean, I know it's. I mean, he gave me the message loud and clear, like it's time to move on. So
gotta be
I know
great
that's
at
his
every
plan.
shot.
Right. But it's more like the kids. Like it'll be different when I'm speaking at colleges. Like I can go and talk to them and like have a interaction, but it's not like a long term. It's not built up over years of like me knowing this individual and
Yeah.
having conversations about their family. Like it's more like a quick like tell me a little bit about yourself. Okay, here's my seminar type thing. We chop it up and I'll leave.
But I feel like even if it's a quick little interaction with somebody, I know for me, somebody showing me that they actually, care about who I am individually at that time,
Yeah,
I feel like that'll take you further than, just trying to hide by somebody, trying this is what I do, blah blah blah, and get out the way.
right. Because I think ultimately, like I've had, I've been in a position multiple times where like I wasn't because of the way I carry myself, I was overlooked for jobs. So like
Hmm.
when I applied to be an RA, I was doing it solely for the money. Like I had no interest in doing the job. And then the way I carry myself, the people were like, I don't know about it. I had people vouch for me. Cool. Like knowing the right people get you places in life. So they're like, no, I think you could do it. And then the same concept, like I get to the point where I'm about to graduate. Like somebody I'm real close with comes to me like, hey, I want your help to rebuild the program. Like I need your help. I was like, all right, I'll give you 4 years. Immediate lash of like, oh, you're not mature enough. You don't carry yourself how you should. Yada yada yada. And then I just sat down to have a conversation with two of my bosses, and they're like, "Yeah, no, no, no wonder you're leaving. You've outgrown this position. Like you're bigger than this position now."
Hmm.
So it's like being in that position and knowing that just because you grow up a certain way or you put yourself in certain situations and you made mistakes doesn't mean that you can't be a leader. And I think the most important thing about leadership is like not everybody. There's not like a cookie cutter shape of like this is what a leader is. Do you,
Hmm.
a lot of what leadership is like the core like what would you call them characteristics like things people have
Characteristics, yeah.
because you don't need like you don't have to be like extroverted and be loud to be a leader. Like you could be a quiet leader and being able to like I think that
Interesting. Elaborate on that. How could somebody be I mean, I can see how somebody could be a introverted leader, but explain to somebody who don't know cuz I mean, it could be different ways, but
yeah no for
what's the
sure
best way
well
somebody could
so
be?
the key is everybody's different. Not everybody's gonna walk and talk the same. you know Even ducks look different, right?
Mhm.
But I think the number one key to that being a fact is like the leadership. If you're in charge of somebody who is in a leadership role and you kind of like, oh, you're too quiet, yada yada. That's fine. You can be quiet, but like, what skills do you have? Like, what skills can I teach you to like take into being a leader, where you don't have to yell at people? You can have those soft spoken conversations, and people take you serious. Same concept of how I carry
Yeah.
myself. Like, um, uh, like I'm more in the middle. There's a word for it. I keep forgetting. Not introverted, not extroverted. It starts with the A.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But it's ambivert. So being an ambivert is like you can be either. I typically am more introverted, but business side, like I can talk to people. Like it's not a
Yeah,
struggle.
same, yeah.
Now there's times I get burnt out, and like I need to be by myself. I need to be in a dark room with no noise.
Mhm.
But a lot of it comes from like your leadership is going to correlate to whoever's below you. So if you're saying like, oh, I need leaders to fit this mold, you're missing out on people that could be great leaders, but you're just not giving them the opportunity. So, for example, I had girls that were very soft spoken, very quiet, and they just needed the opportunity to develop into like that person that's
But
not
their
scared to
accents,
speak. Right, right.
okay, yeah.
So, like one of the girls that very quiet, very conservative, didn't really speak. So I see it. I'm like, okay, we're gonna have these conversations. So we for the first couple times we talked, it was like a long silences. An hour meeting felt like 2 hours. We weren't really getting anywhere. And then that by like our third, fourth meeting, she understands like, okay, I'm bought into her success. So she starts opening up a little bit more. And then I start giving her opportunities like, hey, you should listen to this
Mhm.
seminar, read
Yeah,
this
bro.
book. I think you'll take something from it. The same girl comes in my office recently, finds out I'm leaving, and she's like, hey, when do I apply for your job? And I was like, do you think Like looking back at
Mhm.
you when you came into my office as a sophomore that's in our age, would you have seen yourself asking for my job? She was like, no, not at all. So
Yeah, bro. See, that's instilling confidence,
right,
bro.
right. And that's the key though. Like it doesn't come from any individual can be a leader. Like if you'd asked me that earlier in like life, I would have said that's not true. Um, I think any individual can be a leader, but it takes like the right tools and characteristics to be a good leader. That's the that's the kicker
But
there.
yeah, most definitely. But I feel like a main factor though with that is confidence, because somebody can have all the characteristics of a leader but not have the confidence to actually be that leader. They just want to follow the leader or be in
Yeah.
the leader's shadow because they don't have the confidence that you know what you're doing. I am this person who I think that I am, but they don't feel like that they could portray that, to make anybody else believe it.
Well, see, that's why I say that it comes directly from like that. You can teach somebody how to be a leader, and a lot of that comes from how you interact with them and showing like you can implement confidence in people. Like even the
Hmm.
smallest things could build somebody's confidence. Like going to
For
them,
sure.
even if it's something that doesn't mean anything. Like going to them with a task. Like, hey, I want this done a certain way, and you're the person to do it. That builds confidence. Like, okay, he trusted me to do this. Let me do my best on it, and then they give it
Facts.
to
Yeah.
you, and you're like, perfect. This is exactly what I needed. Cool. And now they have a little bit of confidence, and that continues to build. Granted, some people are really easy, like really easy to break their shell. They just basically asking for that one person to actually take the incentive to like get to that point. Some people are a little tougher, and those are the ones that have to work really hard to like bring out the shell. That's the ones that are the most rewarding because it's like the girl that asked for
So
about
what
my job.
about the so what about the ones that are faking it?
In what
How do you
sense?
feel about if the ones that try to be so bad a leader, but you could tell that it's just not them. So I don't know how to explain what I'm saying. Like, well, first of all, how do you tell between the ones that are trying to be a leader and the ones that are trying too hard to be a leader?
That's a great question. I think the biggest thing, those people that you can tell like they're exerting themselves too much to try to be that leader, a lot of it comes from it kind of feeds into the psychology. Like something happened for them to be in that point. From what in the past what's happened or like what's worked for me is like taking those people out of a leadership role and letting them listen. Like don't say a word. Like just listen to what people are saying and like make them
Mhm.
more be like a team role player type position. And then they see okay, a lot of the people that are like that are like exactly the kind of the people you're saying like the loud, like always have to be heard.
Boastful as.
Yeah. And I think so like my experience, a lot of those people come from like backgrounds where they didn't get attention as kids.
Hmm.
And they take being loud as like being authoritative, and that's not the case. Like
And they take loud as being heard. Like,
right,
that's the only way they
right.
can be heard is being loud.
So for me, as just a one-on-one conversation, all I have to say is like, I hear you, I get what you're saying. I was like, just listen. Like, don't say a word. Like that's your challenge for today's meeting. Just listen to what everybody's saying, and then they come to me like, okay. At first, there's a little animosity, like, why are you telling me not to speak? And then they come to me like, okay, I get what you're saying. Like I'm so busy
Hmm.
talking, I'm not thinking about what's best for the team or what the best course of action is.
So could that not just correlate in a leadership career aspect, but like a leadership in life aspect?
No, for
Like,
sure, yeah.
what is a leader in life to you?
Well, I feel like there's different. That's a kicker too. I feel like there's different leaders. Like there's people that lead, like you have more servant leaders. Like you would think like a chaplain or like a priest.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of higher education leadership roles are like servant. Like what is best for the group, the people that I am a leader over.
So it's
Um,
so it's so it's situational
yeah,
type.
no, 100%, yeah. And I think too, like I think ultimately everybody can benefit from learning leadership skills, even if that's not the role you play. Because you never know. Eventually, maybe you might get into a career. Like say you go to school, right, and you get a degree in like IT management, right,
Hmm.
and you really just like to feel like you're not trying to climb the ladder or nothing like that, and you get this job and you love it and you do it for 20 years, and then within that 20-year span. everybody that was above you either retires, they leave, and at one point you're the person that has the most tenure, knows the most stuff about the company. Like you're the guy now. So for you to know leadership skills is going to be beneficial in that situation because then you could teach the people that are new to the company and don't really know the mission or the goal that you
Yeah.
have. So I think that's always beneficial, even if that's not the case. Like that's one thing about my sessions is not everybody's going to relate to the message, and that's cool. But like you're going to take something away from it, whether it be
So,
because a lot of mine is conversation based. Because I can have a conversation with a wall, right? So like
mhm.
I'll make my points. It's very quick to the point. Like yeah, 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 tell my story. Granted, my first session was very rushed because we were already behind. And I want to make sure I got through it. But my I really break like people's mind and stuff and like break their way of thinking by having conversations, like asking those hard hitting questions of like, well, why do you do this?
So do you implement your faith in any of this?
So again, a great question. Um, I have a lot. My notes are a wreck. They're all organized because I have OCD, but like I got business plans, I got speeches, I got everything. Right, everything that
Mhm.
is somewhat useful to me, I'll write down. And being at that conference this year, there's just so much hate. Like not necessarily hate, but like because everybody's passionate, right? Like they wouldn't be up here paying $3,500 to do a session if they're not passionate about it. Like it's what they believe in.
Yeah.
But like the delivery is so like we got this is a national conference and there's people that are basically like use their 10-minute session to just shit on people for being white. And it's hard to
What do you mean, bro?
like just like the I'm sure you've seen the people that's like white people were the problem, like oppression, whatever. Like that's your message. That's how
Okay,
you feel.
yeah.
Like I'm not one to say that that's not accurate if that's how you feel, right? But
Mhm.
when you pay $3,500 to do an expo and there's a large demographic of white students in the crowd and you're yelling at oh white people's the issue, these are people that's gonna pay your bills.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And then on top of that, as an advisor, I have to keep these people engaged. Like I get it, you don't like it, but like we're learning leadership skills here, so you might not
So
like the
what type of
message.
people are you inviting?
That's the thing; they sign up for it. Like it gets approved
Mm,
somewhere, but like that's beyond me. And granted, like the message, there's always like regardless of what your topic is, there's gonna be two types of people that take it. They're gonna somebody take it exactly for how your delivery and they agree with you 100%. There's gonna be people who take it like the opposite of that.
mhm.
So a lot of it is interpretation, and I get that. But like, it's hard for me to keep students engaged when I have five white students, and this lady's like, the white man, death to the white man.
Yeah.
Like I even told him, like one dude was talking during one of them, and I was like, go in the hallway. We're not doing this.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a conference for you to learn leadership skills. I was like, if you think I want to be a part of every meeting I'm a part of, you're absolutely wrong. I was like, part of being in meetings that you don't want to be a part of is just sitting there managing
And not saying
your
nothing,
judgment
it's just
face
being
and
there.
just yeah, just be there.
Mhm.
If you want to talk shit, that's cool. Talk shit later, but like time and place. It's
But
part of
people
being a
don't understand
professional.
that though.
But
And that goes into the leadership thing, bro. They obviously,
excuse me. But I did say I even texted my wife and I was like, I got to bring God back into programming.
mm. Yeah, yeah. That's the question I asked.
Yeah. So granted, it would have to be in the same sense that I kind of phrased before, like not everybody follows Jesus Christ, right? Like I don't want to bash anybody's beliefs. But
Mhm.
if I can implement certain aspects of like something they can learn, like they might not follow Jesus Christ, but if I put on a session about like leading like Jesus, like loving everybody, being compassionate for people, they might not believe in
So you
Jesus, but they know what Jesus stands for and they know like treating people right is the right way to go about it. Like there's gonna be people you don't like. That's just how like that's your human body. But like having love for them regardless. You know what I mean?
so that goes back to the point of me stating that we can show people like you said that don't necessarily believe in God that God is real through living Christ like, and you giving your testimony through how you start off your conferences is basically like you basically giving your God testimony, just not saying like, oh, yo, this is my testimony. I want y'all to listen to it. But you explaining that, this is a man that, gave up
Yeah.
everything, blah, blah, blah. And this is who I am now speaking to you. And, your leadership thing, that can be
Right.
your whole God, your whole God spiel, and them not even knowing it.
And a good thing
And
too
you,
about like the route I want to go and being independent is I can go to like a conference like that where you get 10 minutes on the stage. That's what you pay for. But like
mm,
I could sign up for extra sessions and turn 10 minutes and $3,500 into 90 minutes. You know what I mean? So in that sense, I don't really care. Like again, would it be nice to make money? Yes, but my main concern is that somebody takes something away from my session.
mm-hmm,
Like if I have to pay for a conference and get my message across to 100 people and then break even on the conference, cool. Like somebody got my message, that's all I'm worried about. So I can go and speak and do a session like the sessions that they like have a choice in. So like the conference layouts, like you do the educational sessions, which is like students pick them and they go to them, and then you do like open showcases, which is more like catered to everybody. Like you have to be there. So in
mm-hmm.
that sense, I could go to a session that says like leading like Jesus, right? People know what that is going to encapsulate, and then be like, all right, cool, this is something I'm interested in or something I'm not. Even if it's like an interest, like I don't really follow Jesus, but like this is interesting. What's this about? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
They at least have that like uh
Opportunity.
opportunity to like partake in it, opposed
Mm-hmm.
to me getting kind of like a street preacher and being like, y'all are all sinning, y'all are all going to hell. Like
Yeah.
it's the delivery. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to is your delivery. It's not what you're saying because if you say it the right way, either it's gonna like some people's gonna take something away from it, but the way you're saying it is the key.
Yep, and the way that the person is hearing it, bro, it's all
Right.
about
Yeah.
perception. So you could say, bro, I learned this. I don't even want to, bro. I learned this with people that you can literally say something to somebody the exact way you mean it. They hear it and they interpret it a whole totally different way, bro.
Or you is this you learned this through past relationship?
Yes,
Yeah,
women,
yeah,
period, bro.
yeah,
Women,
yeah. No, for
period,
sure,
bro.
for sure.
So, bro, it's literally all
Yeah,
about how
that's a big part of
somebody
growth
takes it.
as a man. I'm glad that you've realized that now. Like you're definitely in the right headspace, like moving forward, trying to find a wife. Uh, yeah, it's something that was definitely difficult for me to learn. Like I'm saying the same thing. Like I'm saying, you know that that's the case, right? It's just my
Mm-hmm.
delivery. Like I know.
Yep.
So like for me, my thing was we have a baby, right? My wife is very
Mm-hmm.
much a badass. Where she pushed the baby out, single tear rolled down her face. I was like, "Yo, this woman's a gangster." All right, cool.
Yeah. All
But
right, cool. We may go beat some
yeah,
people up.
yeah, yeah. But like we come home and she asked me to change the diaper, and I'm saying I can. Like yeah, like you need me to. But me saying I can like, in her brain is me saying like I don't want to, but I
It's like,
will.
yeah, yeah, like I can.
Right.
Yeah.
So me knowing that she's like she told me again communication that's key to any relationship. She tells me I really don't like when you say that because it like because to me saying I can like yeah like I can, you want me to, got you. She didn't take it that way. She took it as I don't want to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
but I can.
right. So I just changed that out to absolutely.
Mm.
You change the diaper? Absolutely.
Yeah, but see, see, women, brother, also flip that up as you being sarcastic. Like, yep, absolutely, I'll go do it right now. Like, bro,
Yeah,
you
but
can't win for
well,
losing,
see,
bro.
yeah, no, I get that. I think too, like it just like I think it come back to communication, honestly, because like not every relationship's the same. That's something I'm learning. So like, what works for me and Mateo don't work for everybody.
Hmm.
Granted, I think one thing that would work for anybody is like we don't play disrespect. Like people ask her like, "You think you beat TJ's ass?" And she was like, "I would never try. I got too much respect for him."
Hmm.
Granted,
Mm.
if you ask her for real, she'd be like, "Fuck no, he hits way too hard."
Yeah.
But and granted, I didn't even know, but apparently like we was talking, we was in the talking phase, and she was play fighting with me, and she hit me, and I hit her back like 10%, and she was like, "Yeah, shit hurt. I'll never hit you again."
Hmm.
So,
But how long have y'all been married?
2 years now.
Mm.
Uh, shit, you put me on the spot. I believe it's 2 years. We
Oh man, you
so
ready to
we
get
was
cooked
we've
after
been
this?
we've been married longer than we was like we we were engaged longer than we were a couple because I never asked her to be my girlfriend.
Mm.
Um, my thing was like, if I treat you like my girlfriend, what's that make you?
Yeah.
Like, well, I gotta ask. So the week before I asked her to marry me, we actually made a trip to Georgetown where I basically asked her parents for their permission, and she told me that, and I was like, okay, do you want to be my girlfriend? That lasted a week.
He play a smooth. I gotta take some notes from you, brother.
But no, it was just like you definitely know. Like for me, I was kind of in my so I'd say one thing about like relationships is like if a relationship doesn't work, there's always something for you to learn. Like what did I do wrong?
Mhm.
What can I do better? So like my ex before Matea, I was like changing who I was. Like I'm from the city, right? I have no business wearing cowboy boots. That's what she wanted. She
Yeah.
wanted like a ranch hand, clean
Yeah. Yeah.
shaven.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not me. And at the
With the
time,
big belt buckle.
right at the time, I wasn't even religious, but she like we're talking about kids and stuff because like that's her thing. Was like she's religious. She was waiting until marriage. So we're talking about kids, and she's like, "Yeah, I want our kids to go to church." And I'm like, I don't want them to go to church." So there's a lot of things that like we didn't agree with. Yeah, 2 years. We got married June of 2023.
Mm. So
Um,
what? So outside of that, my bad. I didn't mean to
no,
cut
you're
you off.
good.
But outside of that, what would be one of the biggest challenges you say that y'all would face being married, or
We have
and that
faced.
yeah, and that you could see y'all facing in the future. I'm not saying that it would happen, just like
I think
things that married people
they're
go
kind of
through.
one of the same. So very very different and very similar backgrounds. I always say Mateo is just a female version of me. Like we're very similar personality wise.
Mhm.
Um, but I think loss and sense of like parents, grandparents, um, that's not something Matea's like experienced a lot. I mean, she still got great grandparents, and shit, Evie ain't got grandparents on my side for real. So,
Mhm.
um, I know that's gonna be a struggle. Uh, for her, like health, like a lot of health issues running the family, and me too. But like, she's like currently seeing them like in her parents, and like their concerns of her. So, it's things we're trying to do, like eat better and clean it up, because it kind of go off that quote, like, yeah, you'll die for your family, but would you live for them?
Mhm.
But I'd say that's probably going to be the biggest challenge. Honestly, when it comes, we don't really fight like that. Like it's very rare. Um, it's more like when we lack communication, then we'll get into like small arguments and shit. Um, honestly, most of the fights that we've been in were just like wrongly expressed, like projected, like she was away, and I just felt alone. So then I like projected.
Yeah, yeah. I would, bro. I'd be doing the
Yeah,
same thing. I'd be getting mad when I be missing.
yeah. But no, like we're so similar, like we get each other very well. So um, it's not like it turned into big blowout arguments.
Mhm.
Um, just like going off of that, like I'm gonna say it again and again because it's literally the most important thing. But being able to communicate with your significant other and just being completely open, like something in the past that got me like with my ex was like I would lie about things that I didn't think were that big of a deal. Like the
Mm.
whole like if it doesn't matter tomorrow, it doesn't matter right now. Like I just brush it under the rug, it don't matter type shit. But that shit build
Mhm.
up when you don't talk about it, and then it bubble over and turn into something way bigger. You know what I mean?
Way bigger, yep. And then you start projecting,
Yeah.
bro.
But so going off of that, that's what a lot of like I try to change myself so much for my ex. So after my ex, I was like, you know what? Like I'm just at this point now I'm back at square one of high school, just drinking and sleeping with people. And I'm like, this isn't helping me. Like, what is the core? Like, I made a list of like things I did right, things I did wrong, and then like my hard lines of like I'm not gonna settle. Like this is something I'm not
Mm.
gonna settle on. And then
Mhm.
once I got to that point, I'm in a way better space of like being able to process what's going on and being able to cut people off because I know that it's not going the way I want it to. And then like my sister tells me, I remember being in the city for the weekend, and she was like, honestly, just find a friend, and like if something happens, something happens. And I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. Easy for you to say. You've been with your man for 14 years, whatever.
Yeah.
And then within like the next year, we worked together. She worked down a hall, like she lives down the hall from me, and like we were working closely. Like she's printing shit off for me and everything. And she goes through this rough breakup, and I hit her with some slick shit, like 4 a.m. slid up on one of her Instagram posts, like
Yeah.
some like making fun of her, like on some funny shit, like how many times you gonna post a picture in this hat, and it was like the only picture she had in that hat. But it started conversation, and then at 4 a.m. we're texting back and forth, and I'm like, bro, we're really the same person. Like, why aren't we friends?
Mm.
Like, we could be best friends that fuck sometimes.
Mhm.
And then,
That's what you said to
yeah,
her?
yeah, yeah. And then we start hanging out all day, every day, bro. Like, it get to a point where I don't even want to talk to nobody else.
Mhm.
And then we're at Applebee's one day, and this these friends come up and they're like, "Can we sit with y'all?" And we're like, "Yeah, cool, whatever." And March Madness is popping off something crazy right now.
Who's playing?
Louisville's playing. We just hit a buzzer beater. Game over. All right.
Oh man.
But we're out here at dinner and day drinking. Again, same like I cut back on drinking a lot. Like I was once I was happy again. Like I was no longer a fifth in a handle type of guy. It was more like a couple drinks. I was feeling it.
Yeah, yeah.
And this guy's like, "So y'all together?" And I'm like, "Nah." And dude looks at me like, "Are you gay?" And I was like, "Nah." I was like, "She's gonna fall in love with me. She just doesn't know it yet." And sure enough, she this is where she messed up. She told my best friend, his girlfriend, that she was in love with me. So I'm like, that got straight back to
Yeah,
me.
I got
Yeah.
you. Yeah, I got you,
So
bro. You should have said
not
that.
even a couple of days, because at this point I'm feeling the same way, right? And we're laying in bed and we're just like belly laughing, like laughing hard as hell. And I just look at her. I'm like, I'm so madly in love with you. Actually, what really got her was, so we was hanging out all day. We would like watch movies and shit, and then she'd go back to her room. And then one night, I was like, I don't feel like sleeping alone. You feel me? I'd much rather just cuddle up.
Mhm.
So I put on Ghost Adventures, and her scary ass wasn't going back to her room.
Mhm.
So since that day, she's not slept without me.
Yeah.
And then a couple of days after that, I hit her with that. I'm madly in love with you, and we've been together ever since. And of course, she gave me shit because I'm the first person that said it, but she definitely fell in love with me first.
Mm.
But no, it's just honestly just like
Damn,
no,
bro.
yeah, no, it's some crazy. So like we met, but the
Yeah.
crazier story that I left out is before I start that process of like this shit's not doing anything for me, like sleeping around. We matched on Tinder, and like so this is like right,
You and your
yeah, me and my
wife?
wife, yeah.
Mm.
So we matched on Tinder, and this is like right after my breakup. So like I'm on the whole phase. I'm blowing everything up, right? And she comes to my room, like we have mutual friends, whatever. And there's like half naked posters, of girls on the wall. I got a mirror above the bed, like just like fuckboy shit.
Yeah, you going crazy,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's like she come in there like, oh okay, yeah, he's trouble, whatever. So I ended up chopping it up. Like let's go grab food. We ended up talking for 3 hours, bro. First date. After that, I end up leaving my wallet in her car, so the next day I have to get it, and I don't hear from her. So I'm like, what the fuck? Cool, like not pressed about it. I don't really want nothing anyways. And then one day I'm walking out the building, I hear her, and she's hanging out with that group of friends, and I'm like, weird, but okay. And then we go to beat ups to watch the Super Bowl, and it's like that group of friends, and she's there. But
Mhm.
I'm about like 3 pitchers deep. You feel me? So I'm like, I got a little bit of uh, fuel right now. So I look at her like, Mateo, what's your problem with me? And she's like, just like that too, on some just smooth shit.
Yeah, so fuck boy shit.
And she's like, what do you mean? I don't have a problem with you. And I was like, why'd you quit talking to me? And her friend was like, because you have a girlfriend. And I was like, this is news to me.
Mhm.
Apparently, those mutual friends had told her that I had a girlfriend.
Mhm.
And honestly, just come down to dude was jealous and trying to get her away from me.
Type block, yeah.
But it worked out because I wasn't in the place for a relationship, so I would have done something with her, fucked it up, But I mean, ultimately, the way I see it now is like
Yeah.
God was like, "You're not ready."
Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
God was like, "Here's a taste of what you could have, somebody you have endless conversation with, and you actually like, but you're not ready for that." And then fast forward, here we are.
How many years later was that? Or how
Uh,
much later was
that
that?
was junior, so that was have been almost almost a full year later.
Mm.
But that's just God, bro. Like, bro. Okay, let me tell you this story because this God plants seed. Do you feel like God plants seeds in your life?
Bro, everything, yes.
Okay, so this is a seed that God planted in my life, right? Freshman year of college, like I ain't even been on campus yet. I'm driving up to like move in. I blow a tire out in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, damn. Take the first exit. I'm at this tire shop. My peoples meet me. I get a new tire, whatever, cool. Fast forward 3.5 years later, me and Matea's in our hometown. I drive past this tire shop. I've been there. Matea's like, have you ever been to Georgetown? And I was like, no, but I've been to that tire shop. She's like, no, you haven't. I was like, no, I swear. And I pull up pictures of me inside that tire shop.
Hmm.
3.5 years before I even met my wife, God puts me in Georgetown, a couple miles away from where she was going to school at the time. And at the time, it was just like an inconvenience, not that big of a deal. But as God planted a seed, like, hey, just wait, you'll be here a lot. And I'm about to move there.
Hmm.
So it's like,
Yeah, get used to this,
dude,
boy.
wild.
Bro. Yeah, I got some stories too, but I don't want jinx nothing to hurt no feelings. You know.
To me though, like knowing that, like God be setting you up, like giving you basically samples of like this is what your life's gonna be.
Hmm. But and I feel like he does that while he's also testing you to see if you're ready for it. Because if you're not, you're just gonna crumble and
No,
fall.
absolutely, absolutely. But I mean, honestly, dude, I ultimately that feeling got me back. Like that got me to because I had followed religion, but I never claimed Jesus as my Lord and Savior. Like I prayed and did
Hmm.
all the steps of being like a Christian, but like until fatherhood is when I like hit my knees and like gave my life to Him. But like
Mm.
since then, like I just feel so much carefree. Like my physical body is stressed. Like I got so much shit going on, but like my spiritual body is so light. Like I know that He got me.
Hmm.
And
I
I'm
haven't. I ain't got to that point yet, but I'm slowly getting there, bro.
I mean, granted, I even told the chaplain I had on here, I was like, it could be just I'm in a honeymoon phase right now. Like life's
Mm.
good, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
but at the same time, God's always good. And just because something's bad,
But
I think my pet peeve is when people only pray when they need something. That's my biggest
I was
pet
about
peeve.
to say, yeah,
Like I pray
yeah.
all the time. Don't matter if it's good or bad. If it's bad, it's thank you for the opportunity to be better.
But can you praise him while you in your worst
Absolutely,
moments though?
that's the
Like,
key.
can you
That's the
be
key.
grateful for that though?
Right? Because I
Yeah,
think I
cause
carry that aspect through everything. Like I feel like I kind of like what you said, where like God talks to you. To me, I have two thoughts in my head. Like I have like a my brain is broken ADHD, not broken, but like it's there's a wire that's loose, right? My brain's constantly
hmm
going somewhere. Where I have thoughts that are like, "Hey, do this." That's like a normal human thought, right? But when I get thoughts in my head like you need to do this, like out of the blue, I'll do it immediately because that's
hmm
God talking to me. So
hmm
like going off
discernment.
right, going off of that, like I got one of those thoughts one night. Like I have a men's Bible study group. If you want to be in it, I'll definitely add you.
Definitely.
It's got so many people in it. I had to make a second group message. I didn't know that iPhone changed the number of people you could have in a text group chat. But
Hmm.
um, I have this thought of like death and challenges, and going off what we were talking about earlier about God doesn't give you God doesn't give you what you ask for. God gives you challenges. And for me, like the thought was when it comes to like an illness or something, like something that there's no reason for it, just kind of happens out of the blue. the thought was that that's God testing you. Like this is your fate, right? Like you got cancer, okay? Are you going to praise me for the opportunity to get out of this, or are you going to blame me for this happening to you?
But also, can you praise him even if you, for even like even if you don't come out, are you still gonna praise me, basically?
Right, right.
Are you still
Because
gonna, yeah,
if that's the
you
sense,
still gonna
right?
love
You
me?
get cancer, and you're like, nah, God's got it. I'm good, and you die, right? You passed the test.
Hmm.
You gave God all the glory for being in the position.
Every step of the way.
And if you don't give it to God and you die, you failed the test. Because like ultimately, God
Hmm.
doesn't do things out of spite. And I think that's one of the biggest uh, issues people have with religion is like, well, why does God let this happen and this happen?
Yeah.
But ultimately, God doesn't. Everything's a test. Like, what are you gonna make out of the situation you've been dealt?
God gave us free will.
Right.
If
Eh,
if he wanted to control every single thing in our life, then we wouldn't have needed Jesus to
Yeah.
not be sinners.
Literally. I mean, well, think about it this way: Book of Genesis, first chapter of the Bible. Eve doesn't eat from the forbidden fruit, right? Then everything's perfect forever. Like nothing
Hmm.
ever is wrong. Like the moment that Eve took a bite of the apple and sin was introduced into what was perfect, that that's the devil working, bro.
Hmm.
So how much you gonna let him win? How much are you just gonna turn your cheek and let stuff keep pushing?
And the crazy thing is, even when the devil is working, it's because of, God's allowing it, and God, in a sense, I mean, I wouldn't say he is, they're the same person, but the devil was once an angel too, bro.
Yeah,
So, you know, it's everything is all calculated for his
right.
plan. Like the devil is only the he's only the ruler of this earthly, realm, and God lets him do his thing. But ultimately, bro, we know who,
Yeah, yeah.
you know.
You watch a lot of podcasts?
Yeah, I do actually.
Okay. So like with it comes with fatherhood, I feel like, but you get in this phase of like just trying to get as much information as possible. Like
Hmm.
you go through it on like what you agree with, what you don't. But like I got it real bad as soon as I had a baby. Granted, a lot of like naps. I'm awake. Let me find
How
something to
old is
do.
your kid?
11 months.
Okay.
It's about to be one, bro. It flies by. Let me tell you, bro.
Hmm.
The biggest advice I can give you when God gives you the opportunity to be a father, embrace every moment, bro. The ones that suck, like the key there is having like a good partner, but like being able
Hmm.
to be in a position of like I'm smiling through this diaper change. Like it's a bad blowout. It's the third diaper today. You done shit in. I'm
All the way up your back.
yeah, smiling, bro. Like laughing, wrenching you off because your feet, you kicking your feet. Like it's fun times. Embrace every moment because eventually, them diaper changes is gonna turn into door slams in your face and whatever it may be, bro. Just embrace them.
Hmm.
Being able to have a baby blow out a diaper at Mexican and it's upper back and in the car seat and
Yeah.
your significant others laughing about it like that, dude, like so much serotonin, just God working, bro, like beautiful.
Yeah, bro. I'm just waiting on that day I get blessed, bro.
And I get a lot of people that are like a lot of them's kids, they're still young, 20 something, and they're like,
Hmm.
nah, it couldn't be me. I'm not changing no diapers because I take Evie with me every day. Like she goes to work
Hmm.
with me Monday through Thursday most days or most weeks. So these young kids come in like, nah, I ain't changing no diapers. That's yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm like, bro, at what point does that make you a father and not a dad? Granted,
Bro,
they still gotta learn,
I'm about to say, yeah, it's just all about maturity, bro.
bro. And then like some about it just change your like mental like things that gross you out before don't gross you out no more. Like our first trip to the doctor, she like changing the diaper, shits on the table. My first instinct wasn't like let me throw some on top of it. It was like let me scoop this shit up with my bare hands, like
Yeah,
things I
yeah,
would have never done
yeah,
as
that's
like
not me.
not a father. But
Hmm.
no, dude, it's
Does it
great.
also make you like not softer, but like does it make you softer in a sense, like having a daughter or a
So
kid in general?
I heard this. I think that's a heavy question. there is aspects that are that way where you kind of like you can catch yourself doing something you never thought you'd do. Like it's easy for you to be like, oh, I'm not wearing a tutu, I'm not drinking tea with my daughter. If Evie was like, Dad, come have tea with me and wear this dress, I'm gonna be like, okay, baby.
Mhm.
Granted, I'm not gonna lean on that. You're not painting my fingernails. I'm not doing that, but
Yeah.
I'll kick it with you. We'll have tea, whatever. However, though, I feel like what a lot of people lose track of is that like your responsibilities. So like growing up in not the best situation, or like even for me, putting myself in them situations, like I had a certain edge to me, right? Like you're not gonna talk reckless about me, like ask about me. People know me, right?
Yeah, facts.
I've 100% lost that as a dad. I could care less about pride. Say what you want about me, yeah, whatever. I don't care. I'm gonna walk away. I got people
Uh,
to live for.
yeah, facts.
I'm not about to lose my life getting into a stupid argument at a bar. Granted, I don't really even go to bars anymore, but like I'm 20, I'm 26, bro. It only take one bad hit to the head and I'm dead. Like I ain't about to. I keep it on me. I'm not fighting you. I'm gonna tell you
Mhm.
straight up. I'm not
For
fighting you.
real.
I got
Mhm.
people that's waiting for me to get home. So I definitely have lost that. Like if I'm in a situation with people, like I'm with people and somebody get into an argument, I'm not helping you fight, bro. If my family's with me, my family's out the door. Like you're on your own. You
Yeah,
started
the
this shit.
first thing
Right,
we the first thing
right.
moving, cuz.
And then like that I've always been like a protective person anyways. Like my parents thought at a young age that I was gonna die to like standing up to somebody or like helping somebody that was in trouble.
Mhm.
That's only really like gotten worse. Like me and Matea's got granted Matea trains. She a parole officer, so she know tactical moves and shit.
Mhm.
Um but like back away from the door watching everybody because I got people to protect. Like it's not just me anymore. Um and like we got code words for some shit hit the fan or like I'm trying to figure out if shit's hitting the fan, like, yo, we on standby, like let me assess the situation. And
Mhm.
then one thing though that really hasn't changed for me is like the protective thing. So I know, especially going off like the men's mental health stuff, if I'm in a situation, let's say worst case scenario, right, active shooter, and like I got Evie and Mateo with me, my first order of business is getting them off the X, like getting them to safety.
Mhm.
Once I know they're safe, Mateo knows that I can't not go back to help people. Like once I know they're safe, that's my number one priority. Number two is trying to help as many people as I can. Because I know for me, if I was to just leave with Mateo and see on the news that some dad lost his wife and daughter because he didn't have the means of protecting himself, I wouldn't be
Mhm.
able to sleep at night. But I always have the means to do that. So if I have to put my life on the line to make sure somebody isn't going through that tough situation of like I couldn't protect my family, I would be willing to do that. But also, it's way worse now that I'm walking with God because it's like, look, it's God's plan. Like God's given me the opportunity to be in this position to help
To do
somebody.
this, yeah.
So if my life gets taken, that's God. But also, the kicker is growing up rough. Like I've seen what not to do. Like I know
What do you
the
mean?
the cores of like family's everything. This is how you treat people that you love. Yada yada yada.
Like how to be a father?
Right. Like I had a great example of what a dad was. Like killing
Mhm.
yourself to make sure your family's happy. Right. However, I saw the negatives too. So like my dad busted his ass 3 jobs while doing chemo. We didn't have no money.
Mm.
I'll be damned if I'm in that situation. So like first thing I did when me and Matei got married, opened a life insurance policy. So like right now it's like 90K. So like 90K is not worth my life to my family, but at least it's something to
Yeah.
help them get by. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like I seen the outcome, but we lived off Social Security checks once my dad passed. But like that ain't really paying the bills when you got two teenage boys that eat like crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So like that was my first priority is like let me make sure that if something crazy happens to me that my family's taken care of. Number one. And now that that's taken care of, like I ain't gotta worry about it. Financial advisor handles all that shit. I just focus on the day to day. Like let me get the most out of the today with my family as I can.
Hmm.
But I will
Sounds
say,
like a sounds like a good sounds like a pretty sane, sound, married life, bro.
Honestly, bro, blessed. That's all I can say, bro. Like that's ultimately what got me to this point is because like no reason a guy that's done all the things I've done should have the life as good as I have it. That's God.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, bro. As long as you keep thanking him every step of the way, bro, then even that's what I'm saying. Even because the shit's gonna get bad at some
Yeah,
point,
no,
bro.
for
It's
sure.
gonna get bad.
Right. And I told my wife the other day, just randomly, and honestly, like the small things, like you probably like you're a very intellectual man. I'm sure you've found out by now. A lot of the times, women just want you to show the extra effort.
Yep.
So like for me, it's like Matea doesn't need this thing, but I know if I get it for her, she's gonna feel
It's
loved.
gonna make a yes,
Right.
yeah. That's
Or
all it
not
is,
even a
bro.
physical thing. Matea don't really like physical. Like she likes flowers, but like that's something I get when I go to the store anyways. Like that's a normal thing.
Hmm.
Like people at work, it's like, oh, I see who wear the pants at your house, and Matea's like, no, it's Terrence. He wears the pants.
Hmm.
She's like,
She calls you
yeah,
Terrence.
yeah, yeah. So she's like,
TJ.
no, he doesn't just buy me flowers because he did something wrong. Like he just buys me flowers because he knows I like them. Like it's not that deep where
Hmm.
y'all try to fish for something that's going on.
Yeah.
Um, but I think that for us, like the small like signs that I'm actually putting in the effort, that's what makes a difference. So I just sent her a long text the other day, basically like telling her I don't know what God's plan for us is, and I can promise you that good or bad or ugly, like I'm gonna make sure I do anything I can to make sure you and Evie's taken care of.
Hmm.
And that's all. Like that, 9 times out of 10, that's all a woman want to hear. Like you got me, bet I got you.
That's bro. And she gonna go. She gonna run through a brick wall as long as she feel like you gonna protect her and you got her.
I'll
Bro,
tell
I'm
you
telling you,
one
bro. She gonna
conversation
run
I
through a
had.
brick
This will make
wall.
you understand Mateo, bro. Dude knows both of us very well, and he said if I ever was to do something wrong, I would want you to come after me and not Mateo. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, if you come after me, it's gonna be real quick. I know that. He said, Mateo gonna torture my ass first.
Mm,
And I was
tight.
like, okay, all right, that makes sense. Yeah, but no, she's great, man. That's honestly the only thing I can tell you, bro. Is like whatever God has in plan, like whatever God's plan is for you, um, making sure that you're going with God in that decision making process. So like this is the one that God chose for me, and not this
Yeah.
is a good one. You know what I mean?
Hmm. And it's bro, it's a major difference, bro. It's because God also places people in your life, whether you think that you're gonna be with them forever or not.
Yeah,
It's stages and, like you said, lessons that you learn with each person, with
for
each
sure.
relationship you have in general with people. It's things that you can take from them, and if they fall off or if they stay with you, like it's things that you get from everybody that makes you who you are.
And I think
And
too, I think there was a lot of advice I got growing up. Like my mom used to tell me, because I'd get a girlfriend and then we break up and then I get another girlfriend. My
hmm
mom told me in high school, like, don't stop dating these girls. Like, stop going out with them. Just go on dates. Like, find out what you like, find out what you don't. I didn't listen to her, so it
hmm
took me longer to figure that out. But that's really
hmm
sound like dating is all wrong now. Like, you get a girlfriend for what? You know what I'm saying? But now, like, I told my brother the same shit. I was like, brother, just take random girls out, bro. Find out
yeah,
what
and
she
see,
got that
yeah.
you like. Maybe you fuck with her. Maybe she got some valid points. But like, just get out there and find different people, have different conversations, figure out what you like, what you don't like, and then build that into finding a future wife.
Yeah, and I also feel like people put too much stress on trying to
Right,
find somebody in
right.
general.
Well, I mean, granted too, like you probably play whatever their beliefs are into that. Because I mean, granted, I wasn't stressed about it, but at the same time, like it wasn't like I was looking. I just happened to find Mateo, and no, I didn't want anybody else.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and then, but then you got people who are so like hell bent on like trying to find somebody. Oh, I need somebody to be
Yeah,
happy,
a lot of those
and they just.
people. So it's the same premise with my boy. That's what he was going through. The one that we did sober October. We read the Bible, right? Is he
Hmm.
was in that situation of like, bro, I'm just so lonely. I feel like there's nobody for me. And I'm like, bro, you're religious. Where is this coming from, bro? Like,
Mm,
God's got a plan. But ultimately, I fed that back into like, he wasn't at the place to love himself. Like, how's somebody supposed to love you if you don't love
yeah,
yourself? Like, you are capable to love somebody even if you don't love yourself. But how are they gonna love you if you don't love yourself?
bro. And that's the thing that I was struggling with, bro. Falling in love with myself to where that even if I didn't find nobody, I would be content with whatever I'm at. Like, and you gotta love God to know that if if you got God, bro, He's all you need. So
Right.
anything
But
else,
going off that though, that's actually a really good point. That's a lot of the situation I found myself in when I was sleeping around. I didn't love myself, but I was basically just giving
mm-hmm,
whoever I was spending time with whatever she was interested in to stay with me or like spend time with me. And that wasn't good for me. Like I needed to love myself and I wasn't there yet. So getting to that point, that opened the door for me to fall in love with Matea.
mm,
But I'm glad that you're at that point though that you found some self-worth and some self-love. It's a big step.
yeah, bro. And it's a battle every day, bro. But I'm still doing it, bro.
Oh no, absolutely. I believe it. I'm proud of you though, bro. I feel like that's too we I got a club. It's a men's mental health growth and development club. And it's all based off this content stuff. You still there? Okay.
Yeah.
You froze for a minute. Um but that's a lot what we talk about. Like it's a lot of conversation based. Like I'll make points and then we talk about it as a group. Um but it's like what what place are you at? Like how do you feel about this? How does this make you feel? Like stuff that's
What
not
do you
talked
mean?
about. So like I come up with like these. I don't want to call them lectures because it's not that. It's not like I'm preaching at them. It's more just like, hey, I have this thought. What y'all think about it? And then we talk about it. So like I did
Hmm.
one off judgment, and I basically like have two people stand up and they're marching in place, and I give them stuff to hold, and they got like the same number of things, right? Well, one person I like start throwing pins to like one at a time. He's catching them, making it look easy. The other guy just start throwing them randomly, like fast and shit. He can't catch them. He
Hmm.
can't hold on to everything. I was like, based off of what you just seen, right? We have judgments off the guy who's struggling to keep up, even though he's got the same load as the other guy. I was like, but we're quick to judge him because he's sloppy or he's not doing something right, but we don't see the depth of it. So I take that and I'm
Hmm.
like, I take their stuff and I'm like, look, this guy's carrying this and this and this, and this other guy's carrying a couple of responsibilities that ain't as big as that. I said, so in that perspective, like we judge people based off of how they look and not what they're going through.
Hmm.
And then we talk
But then
about
again, some people judge people based off what they're going through and think that their circumstances define who they are as a
right.
person.
Well, then we get into the conversation of like judgment from a man and from a woman, and a lot of the guys felt like women judge more based off things that men can't change, and men judge to like get the betterment out of a man, which I agree with.
What do you mean?
So like, a lot of times women will judge shit like, oh, he don't make enough money, he's not tall enough, yada
Oh
yada.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Where men are more judging like based off of the actions you do and if you're doing too little or not enough. Does that make sense? So like
Yeah,
their
for
judgment is more
sure.
based off of trying to get more out of you opposed to judging you to make you feel bad.
Hmm.
So that's a lot. So like the Easy Brother meetings are more just conversation pieces. Like let me get you a topic, let me give a little spiel about it, do a little like activity to put like words to a physical thing, and then like let's see what we can talk about for an hour. But it's a good because it's easy to implement faith into that, especially
Yeah, it is.
I got a group of people that luckily when I started Easy Brother, I wasn't right with God. So getting right with God, I'm in a group of guys and I'm like first meeting after God, I'm like, hey, if you're not comfortable praying, like by all means you can leave, but like I'd like to have whoever is willing to partake. Everybody stayed. So now I got this group of Christian men who come and we have conversations every week about what they're struggling with as men and whatever problems they're going through, and then we end every week with a prayer. But it's just more about not only getting the word out there, but just like making sure that these men are taken care of. Because a lot of the conversations I'm having are super repetitive. I need to record them.
Yeah.
I want a wife, but like I can't stop cheating on this girl, but she's the one. Then she ain't the one,
Hmm.
bro. Like, what are we talking
Yeah.
about? Uh, but that's the most common one. But I kind of put the like it was something I was interested in, and I was like, well, let me see. Like I kind of have a platform here. Like I can start a club, see if it takes off, and
I
we.
think we should I think we should make our own little men's talk type thing.
I'm with that. Like a group chat.
And actually, yeah, and actually like touch on some subjects that people don't want to talk about.
I'm with that. I mean, also too, like I'm about to start doing it on Discord once I leave. So like, if you want to
Hmm.
hop on a Discord call, you be in for a call.
Yeah, bro.
But no, I'm with that. And too, like I know a lot of the kids, so I I don't like to like wean too much into like one person. Like it's more open. Also, too,
Hmm.
I'll tap in with you. I got this concept I'm working on. I'll hit you with it. See, kind of use you as a guinea pig. But yeah, that's a lot of. So like the motto of the stream is like be better than yesterday.
Hmm.
Like be better, be easy. Like be better than yesterday. Take a deep breath. Like everything's straight.
There was a question that I wrote. Speaking on that, there was a question that I wrote on my manager's desk. She had this sticky note, and the question I wrote was, if I give my best today, what am I gonna have tomorrow?
It's a good quote.
And that was a real question because, like, if I give my best every day, well, if I give my best today, what am I gonna have tomorrow to give?
But in that sense, though, if you really look at it abstractly, that's a callback to your art. But if you look at it more
Mm,
abstract than that, if you're giving your best today is not going to be your best tomorrow because you've already learned from what you had the previous day. So you give your best, but as a man, as a human being, you know, like I could have done this better. Like looking back at the day, in complete honesty,
mm.
you could say, okay, I did this, and this good, but this could have been improved.
So basically, you giving your best that you think at the time, and then when you go back and reflect on your best, you be like, okay, I could have did this better, and then
Exactly,
tomorrow you do
exactly,
that.
right?
I see what
I
you're
mean,
saying.
and yeah, I made the platform and shit, but there's stuff that every day that I'm like, yeah, I could do that
Yeah,
better.
yeah.
Like yeah,
Hmm.
I'm deep into like I got the Whoop, so like it tracks my stress levels and my sleep recovery.
Hmm.
Bro, it's like every day I could get more sleep. I could turn the TV off an hour earlier. I don't.
Hmm.
Let me do that better. Let me do a better job at communicating with people that's close to me. Let me, what ultimately it comes down to that. Evaluate every day. Honestly, I feel like if you were to do this, it would you'd see a lot of growth in it, but like after every day, make a list, quick list of like I did this really good today. I made my bed. I worked nonstop until I got distracted, whatever. And then the next day, you try to be better than that list.
Yeah, you try to. Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying.
You
I
delete
like
that
that.
list, you make a new list.
Yeah, I like that.
But that's the key, like striving to be better than yesterday. And then if you really look at it deeper, you could then implement faith into that. Like I didn't pray enough. Let me pray more tomorrow.
Hmm.
I didn't read any scripture. Let me read some scripture tomorrow.
Shoot, that should be the first thing, and then the rest could go after
Right.
that.
But that's kind of the concept. And granted, again,
Hmm.
it's kind of one of those things, bro. Sometimes you get lost in the day to day and you slack on something. But are you trying though? That's the key.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
the
care.
key. Yeah, are you trying?
I don't care if you're to the point that you want to be, because there'll always be a new point. Have you heard that Matthew McConaughey speech where he's talking about his role model?
Maybe.
Okay, listen, bro. This is some tough shit. So he's giving an award acceptance speech, and he's talking about in middle school or in high school. His guidance counselor asked him who his role model was, and Matthew McConaughey's like, well, I don't know. Me from 5 years today. It's 5 years later. Guidance counselor's like, hey, are you your role model yet? And he's like, no. 5 years from today. And every time they have a conversation, it's always 5 years in advance because his ultimate tie-in was like, I'm never gonna be the person I want to be as long as I'm growing the way I want to.
Mm-hmm.
So like 5 years is gonna bring different challenges and different levels to life and different perspectives. So then the next 5 years I can build off of those and then build off of those. I was
Mm.
like, yo, that's tough. That's a good way to look at it.
I'm gonna have to take that too.
Do you listen to
Well,
like motivational speakers or
so I used to, but like I don't
oh
know.
you
I
was a
kind
football
of
but you listen to Eric Thomas, didn't you?
yeah, bro. And
Yeah,
like that's what I'm
ET's a
saying. Like
man, bro.
I I stopped. I kind of like got away from it because like a lot of them was saying the same stuff,
Yeah.
and like a lot of them was saying just like just as like it just felt like vague and like general.
Yeah, repetitive.
It yeah, and repetitive. It didn't really hit home to me no more.
For sure. Granted, so like there's I feel like it's kind of come with knowledge. Like you find things that resonate with you, and then a lot of things don't, and then you find something new. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So for me, a lot of the people's messages that stick with me are like people who have like rough, like David Goggins. I'm sure you know who that is.
Yeah, David Goggins.
That
Yeah, I
man
like
is
him.
different, bro.
There's a Hindu guy too, an Indian guy too. He's
I think I
he's
know who
really
you're talking
good.
about. Yeah. David Goggins, Jocko Willink, like those guys that's been through some shit, and it's more like that's more my style. Like the less like, granted, since I got into faith, it's been more like religious,
You listen
like
to Andrew
Bible
Tate?
teachings here and there. Some of his takes aren't bad, but also like I think his delivery.
Hmm. I don't know. I ain't never. You feel me? I ain't
Yeah.
never
Okay.
sat
Let
and
me make
watched
this
the
point,
whole.
and then I'll tell you what I think about Andrew Tate. I think that the delivery of like you got to stop bitching and complaining about shit because stuff's gonna suck. You got to embrace that. I
Hmm.
like that delivery. That's for me. That's not for everybody, but that's what I like. So like,
Yeah, I mean, I like it too, but like you said, it's not for
yeah,
everybody.
not for everybody. Same premise as Andrew Tate. I think the sense of like some shit is corny and it ultimately
Some
plays into his
some some should
audience.
be unrealistic.
Yeah, but also like that's one thing too. Like you look at like the Paul brothers at the
Hmm.
core. Like you break down Andrew Tate and Logan Paul and Jake Paul. Out of everything, they're great businessmen. They know how to play into whatever media, social media they're
Hmm.
using.
Definitely.
They definitely get engagements. Because the thing is that a lot of people don't know about social media. If you comment something nasty or you dislike it, they still getting paid for that. They
Hmm.
get paid for engagements, and they don't have to be positive ones. So Andrew Tate go out and say some shit. Women belong in the kitchen, and they're getting hate comments from women. He's getting a check. So he's a great businessman. He knows how to play the market. I wouldn't say that I agree with every one of his points. Granted, some of them resonate with me, but they're not for everybody. Like you're
Hmm.
crying about not getting a job, like stop being a bitch, go hit the gym.
Yeah.
Granted, like the whole, you ever heard that like, oh, you're depressed, like go do some push-ups.
Hmm.
Not saying that that's the way you should go about it. I'm a strong
I
advocate for
mean,
mental health, but
but I bet say I ain't gonna lie. I've been pretty, myself, and I've been hitting the gym, and it's been
yeah,
helping.
no, I mean, just like that's one thing too, like the science of like being physically active and like dopamine you get from working out, and then you start looking better, and then you get more confidence. Like there's benefits to working out.
I heard
Granted,
somebody say the gym is the only place where I can hurt myself and still grow.
yeah, no, that's a really good quote, and I definitely I don't really go to the gym as much. Like a lot of my stuff's body weight, push ups, whatever.
Hmm.
I got to stay in somewhat shape so I can keep up with the 11-month-old.
Yeah.
But the premise is there, like the delivery again. Back to that, like saying, "Oh, stop being a bitch. You're depressed. Go to the gym." That delivery, a lot of people's not gonna take that very well. Although like if you were to say, "Hey, here's the benefits of working out," so if you feel depressed, maybe work out.
Yeah.
But also, I'm an advocate of going to therapy. I got made to go to therapy. It was, in a sense, I say court mandated to be funny, but I had people that care about me tell me that I needed to go talk to somebody. And it was,
Yeah, I actually told myself that I need to go talk to somebody, and I just got me a psychiatrist not too long
yeah,
ago.
no, definitely beneficial. And I think that sense of like being able to just like trauma dump on somebody who's like a third person that doesn't really care
Hmm.
about what's going on
That
with your life,
yeah,
it definitely
and
helps
don't
you.
and won't judge you.
Right, right. And then kind of like me and Matea's talked about it a little bit, but there's a lot of shit that I don't want to tell Matea just because I know how she handles her shit, and I don't want to dump some shit
Hmm.
that's heavier than that on her, and her have to worry about her shit and my shit. working on
Mhm.
it. It's a work in progress, but it's just come down to communication. Like I gotta communicate, like, hey, this is how I feel. Like I'm working on it. Like we're straight, because that's a lot of her questions. Like, are we okay? Are we good? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
we're good. I'm just
Yeah.
focused on what's coming up. I'm asking God for all these challenges, and He's giving them to me all at the same time. So let me like find a way to navigate it. I'm just stressed out.
Mhm.
God is good. He's giving me the challenge I'm asked for, but sometimes that shit's
Every
bitter.
day.
It's too bitter to swallow. You feel me? Let
Nah,
me.
sometimes we ask for more than what we
Yeah.
can bear,
Oh yeah. I'm definitely that
not
guy.
knowing
I'm
that,
definitely that
not
guy.
knowing God's going. There you go.
I'm
There you
definitely that
go,
guy with
brother.
my cup out and it's full to the brim, and I'm like, more, please.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Was it more, please,
Yeah.
please?
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, bro.
I saw. So usually I like glance over the sheets, but I saw that you a conspiracy theorist guy.
Yeah, low key, yeah,
Which ones got your interest? I'm well versed in the
bro.
conspiracy theories, bro.
Bro, me too, bro. So it's actually a lot, bro. It's like any, mini, money, mo for real. But um, I don't know, bro. You just gotta lay one out, bro. Like I can talk about literally anything, bro. Like I said, in 2017, I went down a rabbit hole of a lot, bro. So it's literally not much that I haven't at least dabbled in,
Bro,
bro.
did you read any of the release documents on MLK?
No, I haven't,
So the
bro.
FBI just released those. This man was having Diddy parties, like confirmed. So like, apparently, like like one of his like political rivals, like got invited to this party he was throwing, and he said like after a certain time it turned into like a brothel.
Martin was, I mean, they said, bro, they were saying Martin or Malcolm, one of them was cheating on their wife or something, bro. So,
But that was wild when I seen it. I was like, damn, because that's like confirmed. That's an FBI document. They got that source. That's confirmed. I was like, yo, this man was walking, so Diddy could run. What are we talking about? That's
hey,
crazy.
yo, for real, what are we talking about? And the fact, bro, even if that was the case, bro, why you bring it up? Well, not you, but like,
Yeah,
why the
yeah,
FBI? Like,
yeah.
come on, bro.
That was kind of my first question too. Is like, this is supposed to be like his documents on like assassination, but you got to release the whole thing
Yeah,
and
but you,
the
but
first
you
three
trying to say he
pages.
throwing
Yeah,
Diddy
yeah,
parties?
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's kind of wild.
Like,
I thought the same
let's
thing.
let's skip over that. Let's take
Yeah,
those out of the
let's
packet
redact
real
that. Like,
quick.
blank that out. We ain't
Yeah,
gotta. There's
like that
certain things
out.
we ain't gotta know. I think a lot of it come to like. Granted, I think politically there's a lot of shit I don't agree with. I'm very much American, but I believe very much in like 1776 America. Like, I'm tired of taking shit from people who want to tax me out the ass and tell me what I can and can't believe in, and I have to
Mhm.
like give soldiers my house. I'm with that. Like, equal opportunities for everybody. I definitely, in certain points, am very anti-government. I think they got their hand in too much of the stuff we do in our day to day.
For sure.
Um, and I think that's a lot of what the Trump administration is trying to like shine light on. Is like, we're not gonna keep secrets from y'all. We're gonna just tell y'all straight
Yeah,
up.
and that we about to do some shit and y'all can't do nothing about it. I mean, y'all can, but y'all not gonna do nothing
In
about it
what
for real.
sense?
Like, as in, I'm not really a politics guy, so I don't know all the ins and outs. But I know that he's making major changes. That I don't know if whether they be good or bad to people, but there's changes that we aren't used to that would change a lot for a lot of people.
Well, I would
And
say
is
a lot
it's
of the budget cuts is affecting a lot of people, but at first it was more like broad scale. So like a lot of federal funding lost budget because they
yeah,
made so many
federal
cuts.
funding, yeah.
But a lot of it got cut under umbrellas, like shit that we needed, which they realized and they like reverted. But
Hmm.
like they cut a whole bunch of federal funding and like Meals on Wheels for like elderly people who can't get out. That got
Hmm.
cut. And granted, again, umbrella, like they realized they corrected it. One thing I think we have to understand is like this hasn't been done. Like there's not been a mass dive of like where our spending is going before, so it's definitely a work in progress. But the fact that we're being shown like, hey, they spent a couple million on Sesame Street in Iraq and condoms for Africa, and we're spending your
Yeah.
dollars on this. I was like, okay, bro,
Hmm.
like for real. Like I get it, it's important, but at the same time, like I got to
But
spend my money
yeah,
on it.
come on,
Yeah,
bro. Yeah.
but yeah, no, I think a lot of his umbrella. Granted, I more voted towards Trump just based off of his cabinet, like the people he's bringing in. Like he's got a diverse
Hmm.
cabinet of people who've been lifetime Democrats, and they're like, "Yo, I don't agree with this shit that's going on." But again, if he does wrong, I'm gonna say he did wrong. I ain't like an ultra MAGA guy that's like Trump's God. Absolutely not.
Yeah. See, I'm one of those people somebody would call uneducated because I don't participate
Yeah,
in politics because I feel like I feel like that is such a divide that'll really break down
yeah,
the best of friends, bro. Like, cause like you supporting Trump or whatever, and then let's say I voted period, and I voted for the opposite
yeah.
party of you, and then I didn't like that you voted for Trump, then we could have a whole debate and it kill everything because of politics, something that
Right.
we don't have a direct hand in. So
And I mean, granted, that's
me,
happened. I think ultimately, like those deep connections. I mean, I got people that are very close to me that vote opposite of me, and that's fine. That's what that's what you should vote.
right,
Like
yeah.
vote for what you believe in. I'm not bashing you for what you believe in, but don't bash me for what I believe in.
Hmm.
Like,
And I feel like people they just don't have that acceptance yet,
yeah,
especially with politics,
no, for
bro.
sure. And I think one
Politics
thing
is the
too, not
biggest
even
one.
like a narrow spectrum, but just in general in politics, if you're voting, vote for what's best for you and your family, and not what's best for
Hmm.
everybody. Because the
Yep.
ultimate premise of a democracy is people vote for what's best for them. When you try to, okay, well, what's best for Ukraine and
The
Russia? What's
masses,
yeah?
yeah.
Then that's when politics gets skewed and shit don't work how it's supposed to work.
Hmm. Yep, yep, yep.
Do you feel like how you feel about 9/11, bro?
No, no,
Not how you
no.
feel about it.
It's
That sounded weird. Like I was setting you up. Uh, it made it seem like I was asking you if you were like pro Islamic
Bush.
extremist. But you think that Bush was behind 9/11?
Oh no, that's what they said. That's what they
Okay,
said for some
well,
type of
if you really
oil.
break down the shit, like all the moving pieces, um, I definitely think that we didn't need to go to that war, and I think that
Fuck 9/11. What about these aliens?
like the actual aliens.
Yeah, actual aliens, bro.
What do you mean? Like they exist?
Come on, bro. You can't be serious right now.
What are you saying? Like, is that what you're asking me? I'm trying to clarify what you're saying. Like,
Like, how do you feel about the UFOs and the you feel me, the sightings and
okay,
all of that?
being a man of God, right? To limit God to only creating human beings, that's kind of crazy, right?
It's blasphemous, yeah.
So like, how like we don't try to figure out why God works the way He does. We just know that He does what He does because He's God, right?
Hmm.
So like, bro, I'd be getting bored and be doodling shit. You know that God was like, let me see what's up with this. Let me
Yeah,
like infinite universes, and you don't think He making other stuff?
bro. Plus, like, who's to say, bro. I thought about it like this. Like, what if the different planets are just like literally different Earths? Just we can't see the physical life on them because it's not a physical life. It's like just 4D or like
That's deep.
5D or
That's deep.
you know stuff
Mm,
like that.
mm.
And like I don't know. I be thinking about a whole bunch
Wait,
of
so
stuff, bro.
you're deep into aliens, right?
Yeah, I I
You
I
watch any of the
I guess,
JRE
yeah.
Joe Rogan podcast?
Yeah,
Bro, did you
yeah.
see the one with the guys that was working on reverse engineering UFOs?
Yes, bro.
Bruh,
Yes.
when he said that
The
that alien pulled up on him
the
like, "Yo, I
Area
need this."
51 dude.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was a wild one, bro. He said that
Yeah.
alien walked up on him like, "Yo, I need this for fuel."
Yeah.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah, bro. And the crazy thing is, bro, like, there's the underground little tunnel thing in some type of airport in it's either Arizona or Nevada, bro. Or Denver. I think it's the Denver airport, bro. They got like a underground, like they
Oh
got
yeah,
somewhere
I've
that
heard
that
something
leads
about that.
underground,
Yeah, yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like a big ass. Like, bro, it's a
Yeah,
whole this is a whole situation down there,
yeah, I've
bro.
heard stuff about that. Also, I heard that there's a tunnel system underneath California.
Bro, there's a tunnel system under the United States, period, bro.
Well, so in California, this guy like signed an NDA and then like it just expired. But he said there's a tunnel system underneath California that connects like major things. And he said that's why you don't be seeing celebrities out in public like that because they be taking the underground system. And they got Starbucks and shit under there, and they don't pay. They just like show up and they get their order and they leave.
They probably got a whole city under this mug.
Bro, that's wild.
Hollow Earth and everything, bro.
That's wild, bro. But that's the
Bro,
thing too. Like,
we could get
bro, think
deep.
about this, right? As men of God, there's plenty of things that we don't understand.
Hmm.
But you take free will of man and what we're capable of creating with the abilities God gave us. So just add that factor of like Satan working and all the stuff that we don't know about on this earth. That shit'll keep you up at night.
Bro. And just the free range that the devil has on the earth.
Literally.
Like,
Oh, bro, I got a crazy devil story for you, bro. I saw this podcast. I know you probably haven't seen it. It's not like a typical podcast people watch, but it's called Sean Ryan Show, and he like talks to a lot of veterans. But he
hmm
had this priest on there, right? And his priest is talking about his life and how he like made bad decisions, whatever, and then he came to God, and then he wanted to be like he wanted to be a father, so he like went to school. And once he gave his life to God, like the people that he was studying under were like, "Hey, like just so you know, like you're gonna get tested by the devil." And this
hmm
is somebody who's like struggled with alcohol, right? So at this point, he's like 3 months sober, like fresh, just gave his life to God. And he's like walking home, and this guy grabs him like around his shoulder, like he's a friend. And he's like, bro, I got coaches already, but his story is creepy as hell. And he's like, let's get a drink. And he looks at him and he's like smiling ear to ear, like he's like, it's the most like demonic smile you've ever seen. He's like, it freaked me out. So I run up to my apartment, I lock the door, and I look out the window, and he's just leaning against his mailbox, smiling at me. So finally he leaves.
I'm actually getting chills right
Bro,
now hearing
listen.
it,
So
bro.
he said he leaves. He runs back to the church, and he tells like the guy that his superior, right? He's like, bro, like I was just out there. Some guy just asked me to drink, yada yada yada. And he's like, I told you, like they're gonna work to get you back on their side. He said a couple years later, at this point, like he's got the collar. His friends are in Panama Beach, and he ends up meeting up with them for lunch, and they're having lunch on the beach in Panama City,
hmm
right? And he said that he's with these women, and they're like looking over his shoulder at this guy, and they're like ooh, and like ah, like he's a good looking man, whatever. And the guy comes up, and he's like got his back to him, whatever. The guy comes up, and he turns around and looks at him, and it's the same guy from the street. And the guy says, "What are you doing here? This is my place. Like I run this."
hmm
And he said that was Satan. Like
Boy,
Satan's like, "Why are you here,
I
bro?
would
Like this is
I would
my territory,
I would ran,
bro."
punched him in the face or
He said
something, bro.
he said that he did like exorcism
Where was
crazy shit
where was he at?
when the
Yeah.
Panama City Beach.
Mm.
And he said the same guy said that God, I'm pretty sure it was the same guy, could be a different guy, but he said you're more likely to find the devil in church. I appreciate the resub trip, love you pup. um but you're more likely to find God in or the devil in church than the bar because he already knows he has the people in the bar.
Yeah.
I was like, oof, that's. I told Matea that. She's like, I'm still going to the church. And I was like, I wasn't trying to tell you not to go to church. I was like, just wanted you to think. Like, that's the thing. Like, the fact that he knows that these people are, like, they're living the right way and he's trying to steal them back to his team.
Mm-hmm.
Wild, though.
Interesting.
Wild.
Maybe that's why church people are like that.
Yeah, some people. I mean, you got to
Cause
think.
they,
If that's the case,
cause
right?
they,
If he's trying to steal you back, he's going to surround you by people that,
yeah.
or he's going to try to surround you by people
That's
that's,
gonna make you not, want to turn to God and
right?
make you turn to the
Right.
devil, go back to your ways. Yep. It's all making sense, bro. It's all making sense.
All right. So we're in the last 30 minutes. I ain't asked you one of these questions for real. Let me see.
We might have, I might have enough time for two more questions because my phone's on six and I have to switch it from the
No,
position
I
I'm
got you.
in.
Trip, I don't know if you remember Trip from Fern Creek, but he said, "What's up?"
Trip.
He said, "It's been a minute."
What's goody? Cuz I wish I could see the chat, but I can't see it.
Um, I'll let you do this then. Um, what's your long term life and career plan? And then I'll let you do a free plug, and then we'll get out of here. Oh, he said, "Don't say his name, Trip." He said, Greg Harper."
Ah,
Yeah,
what's up?
yeah.
Um, I see my, I see a lifetime. You say a lifelong?
This is what's your life goal? Like, what does a perfect life look like for you?
Ooh, a perfect life for me looks like, first of all, I want a crib away from everybody in my own little secluded, built the way that I see it. I already have it laid out, but I want to be able to be financially stable enough to help as many people as I possibly can and still be, present in my family's life. But I want to like I don't know like I just see stuff around Louisville that could just be done, and even in my community where I live at, bro, like it's just little stuff, like bro, like that could like somebody could build a building, bro, and just even if they don't let people stay there, bro, you could literally just hand out food all
Right.
day, like even if bro, anything could be anything to help somebody, even if it's not homeless people, there's mothers that don't have food for their kids right now, struggling
Yeah,
to see how they gonna eat, bro.
for
Like
sure.
there's people literally going out. There's somebody going out here right now to go rob somebody so they could put food on their people's table, bro. Like, and you can have a place where there's food all the time for somebody, even if it's closes at a certain time, bro. It's just so much that can be done for people out here. It's why people are out here going crazy because there's not nothing to be done for them, bro.
For sure.
They feel like there's no help. So
Absolutely.
I just want to be able to be in a position to help and actually genuinely give help, not just a band-aid help. I mean actual help, bro.
I like that.
So
I'm gonna pray for you in reaching them goals. Um, and then I'll give you a free finally tell chat where they can find you and what to look forward to. Anything upcoming? Free plug.
Um, unfortunately, I don't have my Instagram right now. I'm taking a mental break from it, but you can follow my art Instagram, Yuksway, YUKSWAIII. I do all my art on there. I will be doing Fleur de Flea, vintage flea market on the waterfront May 24th. So y'all can come see me there. I have all of these behind me and much more. Other than that, look out for my music. I'll be dropping sometime this year. I don't know what time, so don't hold me to it.
Same
But
name.
I do have a yep, TyMoneyy now. TyMoneyy's my artist name. I do have music out right now under TyMoneyy, TyMoneyy. Um, yep, that's about it, brother.
All
That's
right.
about it. But I definitely have fun. I gotta come back,
For
bro. I
sure.
have
For
to
sure.
come
We can
back.
get you back in. We definitely booked up quick, but I'll probably double back and hit some more people in April again. Because there's a couple people I've had on and we talked past the 3 hours. So I'll definitely tap back in with you, and then I'll let you know whenever we get it YouTube posted so you can get that out too.
Definitely, bro. Definitely. I appreciate
For
you for
sure.
having
Hey,
me,
I
brother.
appreciate you, brother. You have a good one.
You too.
God bless, man.
God bless.
I forgot. I always forget that I have to do this, but chat. Hey, appreciate you, OP. I appreciate y'all for being in here. I love y'all. All right, be better, be easy. I'll see y'all tomorrow, baby.